What's up, everybody? Welcome to the VGU.TV GamerCast, the official gaming podcast of VGU.TV. This is episode 55, and I'm your host, Joshua Mobley, and as always, I have James Pungello here.
Hello.
And I've got Allan Muir.
Hey, did you guys see that trailer for the Steve Jobs movie?
Dude, that movie looks awesome.
I did see the trailer for the Steve Jobs movie.
That movie looks awesome.
I really don't like Ashton Kutcher as Steve Jobs, though.
Man, people love to hate on like certain actors, but I'm like, you know what? There's something's got to be said, all right? They are where they are, and you aren't. So shut the fuck up.
I do like that the guy from Book of Mormon is playing Wozniak.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. But no, I thought that movie looked really good, and I hate Apple. I mean, I like, you know, the idea of like, because I like history and stuff, so I think the history of Apple and like how computers came to be the way they are, because I'm such a fucking nerd, like, seems interesting, and like him getting fired and then coming back, and you know, like, I think that movie looked really good, and when I first saw Ashton Kutcher's gonna be Steve Jobs, what the fuck, and then I saw the trailer and I'm like, that looks fucking awesome. And I'm a person who thinks that 95% of the movies that come out these days are fucking terrible. And I think that movie looks really good. So.
Yeah, well, I watched X-Men Origins Wolverine a couple of days ago, and you're right.
Why?
Because I was playing the tie-in game, and I felt like it was the right thing to do.
The tie-in game was actually...
No, it was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, I should have been watching First Class.
You know,
First Class was awesome.
I actually fell asleep during First Class, and it's not because it was bad. It's because...
I was tired.
I was. Okay, so I didn't... Here's what happened.
I think no one could see that coming, right?
I worked at an auto auction at the time, and I had to... And it was like a 30-40 minute drive away from my house. And on Thursdays, every single Thursday, I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, like shower, get ready, because I had to be in San Jose at 7 a.m. on the dot, and I had to work like 8 hours. Well, this particular night, I did not get any sleep, so I was up all night, and then I went to work for 8 hours outside in the blistering cold, and then, like, you know, walking around, doing what I had to do in the rain. I was fucking exhausted, didn't sleep the whole day, and then went to this X-Men Midnight fucking thing, and like the first half of the movie I can kind of remember they're like hunting down Nazis. I thought that was fucking cool. And then like I just remember like the last fight scene was kind of happening, and they were shooting the missiles and flying around in a jet, and I was nodding in and out the whole fucking time. I was so tired. My girlfriend kept hitting me like, stay awake. I was like, stop it, I'm so fucking tired, I don't care anymore. And then I woke up and they had shot whatever that guy, I can't remember the actor's name. It's like James
McAvoy.
McAvoy.
Okay, I wanted to say Mick Elroy for some reason. I was like, that can't be right. But James McAvoy, they shoot him and he's like, I can't feel my legs, and it was like credits. So I'm like, all right, now that that's over, I can go home and go to bed. But I haven't watched it since, so maybe I need to watch that. But yeah, the Wolverine movie, as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, fuck that, I'm not gonna go watch that. But yeah. Speaking of movies, it's time. It's the week. It's happening. I'm going to describe Star Wars Episode 3. Now, I should say that Episode 3 is I actually enjoy this one.
Yeah, it's much better than the other first two.
Yeah, like the first two are so fucking terrible, and just the third one's cool also because it's got, you know, I'm big on like biblical symbolism and shit, and I can always point it out everywhere. And like in the new Superman movie, people start getting pissed off because I'm always pointing it out. Hey man, he's supposed to be Lucifer, and they're like, shut the fuck up, can't he just be Zod? Like, basically, you know. But anyway, let's see. So I don't actually remember how Star Wars Episode 3 starts. I imagine there was a bunch of fighting.
Oh, actually,
and then
I do remember how it starts very vividly.
How?
Titles, the credits, or the...
Yeah, okay, so the words are flying through space.
Right.
Yeah. Then cuts to Obi-Wan and Anakin in their respective ships, and it's mainly just Anakin wanting to go back to save the clones who aren't going to die anyway. And then they get attacked by buzz droids. R5 gets decapitated.
I don't remember any of this shit.
Yeah, I'm not remembering.
All I remember is that...
Was it the big space battle where they end up fighting Grievous?
Oh, no, wait, okay.
Ship?
No.
What happens?
I know what happens now. I kind of remember. They're flying, okay, the words are flying through space, right? They're going whoosh, and you're like, okay, I got some context for this shit. Okay. And then they're flying around, they're shooting stuff, and then somehow they get on the same ship as Count Dooku, and they're like, and they get in this fight, and it's like, it's all epic and shit, and then he, like, kills Count Dooku, and you're like, whoa, and Obi-Wan's like, you shouldn't have fucking killed him, that ain't how Jedis work, and he's like, fuck you, dude, he's Count Dooku,
Well,
and
the Emperor was telling him to do, Palpatine was there, because he was Dooku's prisoner.
Yeah, he got kidnapped, quote unquote.
Yeah.
This is the movie where they had the big reveal, and you're like, oh, surprise, even though he was the fucking guy I already knew about, Anyway, here, look, I saw episode 6, bitch. I know who it is, alright? Like, anyway, I remember they go back to the planet, and they're like, oh man, the queen, or the whatever, I don't remember who Natalie Portman is at this point.
Queen Amidala.
Queen Amidala. She's still a queen. I thought she resigned. I thought Jar Jar became the queen.
Oh no,
Jar Jar was the ambassador.
Yeah.
Who the hell makes that guy an ambassador? Already,
George Lucas, apparently.
The political world of Star Wars is just as bad as the United States. If they can,
so it's realistic.
If George Bush Jr. can become president, apparently fucking Jar Jar Binks can become a goddamn ambassador for whatever planet they're on, like Nibiru. I still can't Naboo or whatever.
Yeah, Naboo, there you go. Other than Nibiru is always your first guess.
I know. I'm into all that shit. Anyway, they go back to the planet and they're like, oh, I'm glad you came back. And then they're like hiding behind this pillar talking about how they banged all the time. And she's like, my period's late or some shit. And he's like, oh, we should get married. She's like, well, we can't do that, And the children and all this, I don't know. Anyway, bada bing, bada boom, they go around the thing and then, Anakin finds out that Palpatine's he's like, oh, I know the Force and shit. And he's like, I don't know how they didn't detect this before. He's like, oh, I know.
He was so strong that he clouded the Jedi Council's, mind, and they knew there was evil around, but they couldn't spot it.
Yeah. So anyway, he's like, no, I know good and bad. They're like, oh, you're the Sith they've been looking for. He's like, Anakin, don't be such an ignorant bitch, alright? You should know that there's good and bad things. And then they go and they're watching this play, and you're like, this is kind of a boring scene. And then he's like, do you ever hear the story, of Darth Plagueis, or whatever the fuck his name was? And he's like, I almost said it's Empress. His apprentice killed him. He killed him in his sleep and ate him or some stupid shit. And then he's like, can you teach me the ways of the Force? And he's like, alright. So he starts learning all these dark side tricks. Even though he never uses them ever. He never uses lightning or anything cool. He's just like, oh yeah, I can still pick shit up with my mind. I knew that before, so it's not like I got any more powerful. And then they're in his office, and he's learning some shit, and then they find out something, and Anakin's like, that's bullshit. I don't remember what they find out. Anyway, Samuel Jackson comes out, and he's like, Palpatine, I'm gonna fuck you up. And then they're fighting, and Samuel Jackson's about to kill him, and then Anakin fucking kills Samuel Jackson. And then he's like, oh, I'm gonna name you Darth Vader. And you're like, oh shit, it's time. And then Anakin's like, well, we best, go to the Jedi Temple and murder some fucking kids. So they go to the Jedi Temple. Some kids. They go to the temple, and all these kids are standing around. They're like, we're fucking scared. I should have mentioned that he was like, do Order 66. So they have this huge coup, and And they're like, oh, let's kill all the Jedis randomly. All of a sudden, every Jedi in the galaxy can't block blaster, ammo. And then, Anakin's like, oh, we better go to the Jedi temple, start burning it to the ground. And he finds the kids are like, we're fucking scared. And he's like, well, let me ease your burden by murdering you. So, he pulls out his lightsaber. You don't actually see him killing the kids, but you know what the fuck's...
It's not an R-rated movie, so...
Yeah. Can you just imagine, 20 children trying to defend themselves? I mean, it's really fucked up. If you think about it, it's kind of funny. I mean, in the context of Star Wars, 20 children doing backflips with, lightsabers, and none of them could stop one guy.
Actually, something like that did happen. When Bail Organa was trying to get away, there was a Jedi kid who tried to get away with him, and he just got shot to hell. Fun fact, that was... No. This was during the whole slaughter scene.
Right.
The Jedi who got shot multiple times, George Lucas's adopted son.
Oh.
Hell, Lucas is even in the movie himself.
Where is he?
He's one of the counselors. He's one of the...
He's the fat clone. One in the background. They're like,
fat clone in the background.
After you clone them a while, they start to get a little fucked up. It's kind of like reusing the same cup over and over again. It's like eventually that water is going to be brown and plasticky. Oh. It's like after you clone them a while, they start getting fat and then they start having mental issues and they're born with 4 eyeballs and shit.
And they make Jar Jar Binks an ambassador.
Yeah, one of them's Peter Griffin. Anyway, he kills the kids. Obi-Wan's like, fuck's going on here? They go to the lava planet. I don't remember what it's called. Mustafar. It sounds like when you say that, I think of Jafar from Aladdin. I feel like he should be there. They're like Mustafar, and in the background it's him, yes. And anyway, Obi-Wan's like, we better hunt him down, and then he for some reason takes Padme to Mustafar, and she's like, we should, what's happened to you? I don't know who you are. And he fucking, chokes her out. He's like, if murdering kids wasn't bad enough, I'm going to abuse my fiance.
Who's pregnant, by the way.
His pregnant wife at this point.
Yeah. So then, they did get married.
They got married at the end of the second one.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was secret, right? It was
Yes, it was a secret wedding, but they were married, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he chokes her out. Obi-Wan, they're fighting, they're on the lava, they're flying around surfboarding and shit. And then for some reason he's like, Obi-Wan, I remember in episode 1 you did a flip to kill Darth Maul, so I'm gonna try flipping right now, but that didn't work.
Nope.
Obi-Wan knew better than that. He just cut his legs off, he rolls down the thing, and he's like, I hate you, and he burns alive, and then Obi-Wan's like, you were supposed to be the midichlorians' favorite or so shit, and then he leaves.
You were supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them.
There you go.
Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness.
There you go. Everybody remembers more of this movie than I do, apparently. And then Obi-Wan's like, well, instead of finishing him off like a good person should and not letting him suffer, he's like, I'll just leave him here and let him burn alive. And then
he just jacks his lightsaber and walks off.
Palpatine finds him and turns him into a black dude. And James Earl Jones, that voice just roars out, no!
Then
Padme has Luke and Leia, and they're like, well, we better separate them for some fucking reason. Because they don't want Darth Vader.
They don't want the Emperor, tracking them down.
Yeah, so they're like, well, let's make one of them high royalty, because no one will figure that shit out. And then, and then the other one is, we'll just put him on some fucking dust planet with his poor ass uncle. His uncle and his aunt are like, God damn it, you just gave us he's like, I already gotta tend to these goddamn crops, and now I gotta tend to this fucking kid. Like, and then the movie,
And then
yeah.
he says that, and then the credits roll.
He's like, I'd rather be burned alive.
Left for dead and turned into a black guy.
I'd rather be burned alive and left as a skeleton on my front porch than take care of this goddamn kid. Anyway, it's time to actually start the show, like, right. So, what's everybody been playing? James, what have what have you been playing?
Well, surprisingly, I played the Wii U the other day. My older brother came back, and so then my older brother and my younger brother, we all played Nintendo Land. I played the Luigi's Mansion minigame and the Ninja Star thing. That was pretty fun. Got to actually use the Wii U, which was good. It's a good party system, but I'm having trouble finding games to play by myself. Let's see. I've also been playing Arkham City. I just beat the main story, and I'm going back and doing some side quests in the open world. Played a little bit of Call of Duty as well. A little once again, my brothers, we just kind of played split screen, and we had like 9 bots all on recruit, and then we just went around and just murdered them all and got all the kill streak bonuses and stuff. So
I used to do that on Unreal Tournament. I would play the Two Towers map. There was like, I don't know, it was a fucking awesome map. But it was basically one tower at one end, another tower on the other, and it was just a strip of land, and it was like floating in space. So there was only one way to go. It was toward the other base. So it was like a kill fest in the middle, and people used to like get up in the tower and snipe. And I would turn them all on like super easy, and I'd be like 1 against 5 or something. And every time they would spawn, I was just like headshot, headshot, headshot. I would just get like 400 headshots for no reason. Just a crew. It's like I had nothing better to do. I don't know.
Yeah, just kill time.
I was like 12, so it's like, what am I gonna do? I don't have any money. I don't have a car.
It's true. What else are you gonna do but get headshots?
It's true. True that.
That's basically it for me.
Cool. Allan?
Sorry, just had to kill the spider.
Ah, okay. Well, that's acceptable then. What have you been playing?
I played Doom 3 BFG Edition.
Okay.
Beat Doom 3.
I saw you playing that.
Yeah, almost beat Resurrection of Evil. Beat Lost Missions, which really doesn't make sense.
I heard Lost Missions sucks.
Yeah,
everybody was hella disappointed.
Yeah, you're just going on a fetch quest, and you're part of it. You're part of the team that just gets massacred.
That's dumb.
Yeah, you start out, and it just shows your character is being just dragged away by an imp, and you just wake up like nothing even happened.
You're like, oh, whatever. I might as well go kill 50,000 of them. Reload. I swear to God. I love Doom, but like, Doom BFG edition left like a really bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Made me upset.
I then proceeded to play Doom 1, beat it, then
Damn, son.
Then play Doom 2, which I was on just one level for at least 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because I just kept dying and dying.
That's how Doom 2 is.
And I'm on.
They were like, how can we make this game fucking impossible? And they're like, I know how. 50 imps in one room, and you're like, whoa! You're supposed to have fun with that.
Yeah, you're supposed to have fun with at least 20 Barons of Hell and a Cyber Demon.
Yeah. I know. I feel you. When I bought BFG, like, I was so pumped, cause, like, I'm a huge Doom fan, and, like, playing Doom 3, like, it's old, it feels old, it looks old, and you're like, ugh, God. And it feels so generic, like, compared to the stuff that's out today. And then you go back and play Doom 1 and 2 and you're like, these are cool, but like, they couldn't have made them in widescreen. You know, they're all like standard definition and shit. And then on top of that, like, they're really, really hard. They're really difficult. And you're like, I'm not having any fun with this game anymore. I just want Doom 4. And I want them to go like balls to the wall crazy. Because good graphics ain't gonna cut it like these days, like Doom 3 did, you know?
Yeah, apparently
back in the day.
The early version, like before the current version, before the old version of Doom 4 got scrapped, it was taking place on Earth and was described as very Call of Duty-ish. Like very cinematic.
So it was like armies and stuff going against health. See, that sounds cool. Like, that's a change of pace, because Doom's always been like, I'm one dude, you know? And
isn't
I mean,
isn't that kind of part, like, the identity
part
of the series,
of it,
though, is kind of that it's a creepy and
I'm
you're
sure
all by
people
yourself.
would get pissed off if they had like a squad-based Doom game or something, but come on, dude, they gotta change that franchise up at some point, because if Doom 4 comes out and it's just like Doom 3, but it's just running, you know, better graphics, it's not gonna work.
Oh, no.
The
The president or CEO of id said they're not going in that direction again after Doom 3. Doom 4 will be, they're trying to make it more like the classic ones. And every journalist who's either talked to it about it or seen what they had said that both versions are not good. Which is a real shame, considering they put out a game
every fucking decade.
Yeah.
They're just lucky Bethesda has all that money to, like, give them. And that they, like, make so much money off QuakeCon, like, it's ridiculous, you know?
Speaking of Quake, I wanted to play another id game. So
I'm waiting 10 more years.
Yeah. I bought Wolfenstein off PSN.
Oh man, but that was Raven. Are you talking about Wolfenstein 3D?
Yeah, Wolfenstein 3D.
How much is that? Because I want to play that again.
I think it's about $5.
Oh shit! As soon as I get my PlayStation back from my girlfriend, I'm fucking buying that. That sounds dude. Like, I love Wolfenstein 3D. It was like one of the first games I played when I was a youngin'. That shit was awesome.
And I kind of feel like I have an obligation to play it, considering I'm Jewish.
You gotta take it to the fucking enemy.
Yeah, but I just I hate killing the dogs, but I love killing the dudes in the blue suits, because every time they die, they're like, "Me name."
Dude, it's funny you bring up the dogs, because this is back before my girlfriend got all into video games and then became a writer at Telltale and shit, like, you know, that whole evolution. Like, we were trying to give her games that were like simple and older, because like, even to this day, some of the newer games, like, she hasn't been playing games her whole life like me, right? So her brain can't like do the 2-stick thing very well and stuff, like, but we let her play Wolfenstein, and it's me, her, and my best friend, and we're just like kind of chilling, and she's playing, and a dog comes up, and my best friend screams, shoot the dog!" And she shoots the dog, and then she feels all bad, and then he proceeds to berate her for shooting the dog. He's like, "Why'd you shoot the dog, Nicole? It was a friendly dog." And she's like, "You told me to shoot the dog." So every so often we'll bring it up. We're like, "You're the one who shot the dog."
You're the one who shot the dog. That's pretty funny.
But
pretty fun.
After that, I then decided to, because I wanted, for some reason, I ordered Quake 4. And
for some reason,
yeah, priority shipped it 1-day delivery, nearly $10 to get it on Saturday.
Couldn't you just bought it digitally on like Steam? Don't they have it on there?
They do, but I don't have my my Xbox controller. I tried to see if it was available on PSN, but then I realized it came out before PS3.
Gotcha.
So I was very surprised to see that even though the game came out in 2005, all current covers or all current box art has Bethesda written all over it.
Wait, which one?
Quake? Quake 4, yeah.
They must have bought them before then. Or maybe they just published it and then bought them later. I don't know when they bought them. I have no fucking clue, so.
No, because it was originally Activision.
That's right. That's right.
It was Raven, and again, Raven doing the game.
Yeah. Did you ever play the Wolfenstein, reboot? Because I thought it was fucking cool.
The next
The Raven one. Yeah. No, not the one that's coming up. That one looks fucking awesome, too. It sounds cool, too. But no, the one they did that was just called Wolfenstein. This one has, a subtitle, the one that's coming up. But the one that was just called Wolfenstein.
Oh, yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, I had, magic and shit. I'm like, this is rad. The new one that's coming up looks really cool. It sounds cool. It's like the Nazis won and took over the world and stuff, and it's it's in the 60s or 70s, but it's under that precept. And I'm wondering if there's gonna still be magic and stuff in the other one, if it's another reboot, or if it's in that world, in the reboot world that they did. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, as Nazi enthusiasts may know, Hitler is practically obsessed with anything magic. Anything that could help him either win the war or to take over the world.
Yeah, I'm friggin' fascinated by the Nazis. I used to watch History Channel all the time. All that stuff. Yeah, he was totally into that, occult stuff. And there's all these stories of him taking occult artifacts and finding the Spear of Destiny and stuff. It's really interesting. Anyway, what else?
Then after that, I decided to play the X-Men Origins Wolverine tie-in game.
Mm-hmm.
Which
is a good game.
Yeah, despite what everyone would think, it's fantastic. And it's so gory, and it feels so right since it's Wolverine.
It feels so right.
Feels so right.
I mean, it feels very much just they copied and pasted any hack and slash game. But I did find the hatch from Lost.
Is that in there?
Yeah.
And I know in I almost said Diablo 3. In Doom 3, when you go to Hell, at the very end, if you go down a weird corridor, you can find the id logo in this weird little crevice.
That's pretty funny.
I found it by accident. I didn't know it was there. I just was going.
You just got lost.
Yeah. I was just going through a thing, and I found it, and I'm like, oh well, shit.
Yeah, the Rage logo actually appears in the Lost missions.
Rage, yeah. We talk about Rage every so often on this podcast. Actually, James and I talked about it last week.
Yeah, I think we did, yeah.
Briefly. We're it wasn't bad, but...
Oh, it looks fantastic. The gameplay was good, but the story was... meh.
Its programmers...
It didn't make you want to play it
it's
all
always...
that much,
its programmers are, fucking amazing. They have John Carmack, and that dude is, fucking incredible, but... for some reason, just their gameplay, they don't have any unique ideas. It's they're stuck in the 90s, you know?
I believe that only one thing can help them.
A different gameplay design team?
Oh no, bring back John Romero.
Oh.
Bring back Romero.
Talking about, Jericho or whatever. Was that game?
Daikatana?
Oh, I don't know. I remember there was some game called Jericho that came out in like 2005 or 6, and it sucked balls.
Oh no, that was Clive Barker's Jericho.
Yeah, Clive Barker. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Alright, well, is that all for you? Is that all your games?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get into this. Alright, so all I've been playing is Dota 2. That's it. I've also been writing the review, which should go up very soon. It's just so hard because I'm at like hour 309, and there's just so much going on in Dota, and I'm still learning everything that I feel like it's hard to like pick out everything and be like, this is fucking great, or this sucks. Like the only negative I can really think about when during the game is that, well, there's actually two negatives. One is the learning curve is fucking atrocious. Like, I don't care how much League of Legends you've played, it's fucking hard, alright? Like, I've put in probably like 500 hours into League of Legends before I stopped playing it and went on to Dota 2 exclusively, and it's a whole different beast. It's much more difficult, much more calculated, there's a lot going on. It's like it could be a sport, like, at this point. Like, there's just so many rules to it, and so many factors, and, like, that's the one thing. It's like, the first week that you play, you're gonna have a really bad time. Cause I remember when I first started playing Dota 2, I was fucking miserable. I was like, I wanna be good at this game, but I'm so fucking terrible. And now, 300 hours in, I'm actually, like, pretty fucking good. Like, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but I'd say I'm pretty goddamn good at the game. Like, not like pro level, but you know, I'm good. If you played with me, I know what the fuck I'm doing. There's just a lot to it, and if you're new and you pick it up once and lose and go, well, fuck that, then you're probably never gonna go back to it. Like, it's something you have to kind of keep with. You have to want to be good at it. You know, it's not simple by any means. But if you stick with it, it's so fun and so fucking addictive. And, like, there's nothing better than getting 4 of your friends together and all playing on a team, and, like, the coordination and everything, and, like, playing around with each other's abilities to, like, do really creative and cool things that other people you've never seen done. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example, because a friend and I were up till like 3 in the fucking morning the other night playing Dota, and we decided to try something really interesting because I started playing as Lifestealer, which is like a really like pro character, and I like him a lot. I'd never played as him before. And one of his abilities is that he can jump into any other any other allied character, like and like hide inside of them, and then you can basically burst out whenever you want, and it does like area damage. Like everything around the certain area, everybody gets damaged. And he's playing as a character called Spirit Breaker, which can he can charge at anyone he sees. They can be all the way across the map, and he can charge all the way across the map and like hit them and stun them, and then you can kind of like hold them there for a second. And I can also slow people down, so what I would do is I would jump inside of him, and he would dash across the map and hit somebody, and then I would jump out and start slowing him down, and we just beat the shit out of them. It's like, it's that kind of stuff, like just getting creative basically with the characters. And by the way, there are 102 characters, and they're all extremely unique. They all do unique things. You can like play around with their abilities and like mix them together and do some I've seen things that like you go, I never thought of that. Like, and I'm sorry, there's a truck going by. I don't know if anyone can hear that.
Kind of.
Okay. Well, it's louder to me, so I don't know if like, you know, the mic.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Anyway, like there's like things you see when you're playing and you're like, holy shit, I never thought of that. Like, even people that you're playing against will do things. Like, I was playing against somebody and I was fighting him. I thought I was gonna kill him. I was just doing this like head-on-head thing. I was like, I'm gonna kill him. I'm barely gonna survive, but I'm gonna kill him. and they did something with an ability that I'd never even thought of. I was like, oh, and I even like had to tell him in all chat. I'm like, good job, dude. I totally just learned something from you. I never thought of that. Like, I never thought to do something like that. Like, that's so cool. You know? Like, and there's like other people who have like abilities where they can create walls, but they also stun people. So most of the time you just see like Earthshaker. People use him to stun like the whole group, and you're like, okay, he's using that wall to stun people. But then I was playing the other day, and this guy was actually using it not to stun people, but to create walls and like block us off from getting in the base so they could all regroup. And I'm like, I never fucking thought about that. Like, I never thought to do something like that. And it's just really cool. And that's what I mean by like, if you really get invested in the game, like, you see some cool shit where like, not every game is the same. And some really unique things happen, and it's just so much fun. But I'm telling you right now that if you play it for one match and go, I just got my ass kicked and never play again, you're not experiencing Dota 2. And it's probably its one downside, but it's also a pro. In the sense that like, if you actually get invested in it, it's one of the most fun games you could play online. But it is also filled with a community of assholes. I have to point that out, but I didn't really bring that up in the review because it's not the game's fault that the game is full of assholes, you know? It's not like it's Call of Duty's fault for having tons of racists on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
They didn't go, man, I wonder if racists will really like this game. And like, it just happens. It's just because people are fucking assholes. But the community does a really good job of like policing itself also. Like, there's a lot of people that report, and people get banned and stuff. And it's just the staggering amount of fucking content you get, and it's free. It's a free game. And like, any of the items you can buy don't affect the game in any way. So it's not like, whoa, I'm gonna buy this sword and it's gonna make me really fucking good at the game. Like, it's gonna give me extra damage. It's not the way it works. Like, everything you buy is cosmetic, or it's like, oh, I'm getting extra battle point experience. So, like, you know, when you finish a game, you get battle points, and you actually, like, your profile ranks up. And when you rank up, you get an item, basically, like any item. But like I said, the items don't affect the game in any way, which makes sure that it's always balanced. Like, alright?
Wrong.
I think James is cutting in and out. Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're really quiet now, though.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, there you go. There we go. You were getting all staticky.
Huh, that's strange.
Yeah. Anyway, like I was saying, it's not a game where you can, like, a lot of free-to-play games, it's like, I have $200, and I'm gonna be the best, you know, Blacklight Retribution player ever, because I'm just gonna spend $200, you know? It's not like that. You can't do that. Like, you can't buy your way to a win in Dota 2, which is amazing. And the stuff is pretty cheap, which, like, when I played League of Legends, I didn't want to buy anything, because they're like, oh, you want a new character? It's $15. Or you want a skin? It's $10. It's like, Jesus, dude. Like, you're like, all I want is these gauntlets. You're like, oh, it's $250. Oh, okay. You know, or you know, you want a key for like a treasure chest? It's $250. Or like, you want some battle point experience, or you want this or that? You're like, oh, okay. And you just spend like little bits of money on things that don't affect the game in any way. That, and you don't buy characters. All 102 characters are already unlocked, and each character has good counters for other characters, and that character has other characters that can counter him. So you kind of have to have everybody unlocked, because otherwise the game's not balanced anymore. It's like, oh, this guy, all these people have characters that are better than the characters I have, and there's no way I can counter it. So we've already lost. You know, like, it's just a fantastic game, and you get an exorbitant amount of content. I'm gonna spoil the review. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna give it an A. I would have given it an A+, but the learning curve is really what took it down a notch. But I'll stop ranting about Dota 2. It's fucking awesome. It's such a good game. And I'm 300 hours in and I have no signs of stopping. Like, that's how good it is. And I know Scott Peltz, while he was still here, hit 1,000 hours. And I don't know what he's at now because I go online a lot and he's playing and he had hit 1,000 hours and he couldn't stop talking about that game. It's fucking great. Also, international start next week. Pretty pumped. Excited. They're freaking entertaining as hell. Like, professional Dota players do some crazy shit. You're like, holy crap, I didn't know that was possible. These people play this game too goddamn much. But the prize pool for the internationals right now is at like $2.8 million. So, like, it's nuts. It's crazy. But Dota 2 also, I don't know if we ever covered this, but it is now available. It's not in beta anymore. You can play it. You can just, and it's also available on Mac and Linux. It was only on Windows for the 2 years it was in beta. So now there's a Mac client, there's a Linux client. You can download it, you can play all you want, get everything for free. Go do it. And play it for more than a week and really try to learn for the love of God. Because if you like MOBAs, like, and you actually dedicate yourself to Dota, get some friends to learn with you, play against bots on easy until you really get a feel for stuff and really get a feel for characters and abilities, you're going to fucking love it. And you'll never play another MOBA again. Because I don't ever want to go back to League of Legends. I don't give a shit. Like, people are always like, League of Legends, man, and I tell them to grow up. Like, that's how much I don't want to go back. Like, and I keep my dad plays League of Legends. I keep telling him he needs to grow up and play Dota. Like, it's such a great game, you guys. It's so addictive. It's so good. Anyway, look for that review very, very soon.
Look for that, just shimmering review.
It's hard to, like, sum up all that in the review. Like, I've covered most of it, but I keep feeling like I'm not done. A couple paragraphs in, like, I feel like I have more to explain or more to talk about. But it's hard to, you'll attest to this, James, it's hard to write a review for a good game.
It is. It's hard
weird.
To, and you want to balance it. You want to have something to say that's not just basically, like, you don't want to basically feel like you're the marketing team for the game.
Yeah.
But you kind of are when you're praising it that much,
Yeah, I know. There are negatives to Dota 2, like I said. The community is full of assholes. That's why you kind of have to find people to play with. Like, if you play with your friends and you suck, like, people are like, whatever. You have a bad game. But if you play with random people, like, oh, you fucking noob or whatever,
Yeah.
By the way, I hate that goddamn word. I hate it. You know what? Everybody, you were all noobs once too, so shut the fuck up, alright? You should be welcoming to new people, because it's new people in your community, That's the way I feel. I'm like, you're new to the game, I'm not gonna fucking get mad at you if you get like 0 kills and 10 deaths and we lost because of you. You know what? You're new. Whatever. Can't win them all. But, people get way too fucking passionate about that game. Sure, people do it in Call of Duty also. Because Dota 2 now sitting on 5 million players and growing since it launched. I know League of Legends has like 32 million at the moment. Like, it's the most played game in the world. And there are some douchebags on that game, let me tell you. It's because it's free and everybody can get access to it. But, once again, find friends to play with. There's tons of, like, if you don't have any friends, go to Reddit. Like, they have strictly a subreddit called Dota 2 Pubs. And basically, you just say, hey, I'm somebody, I'm in, US West, because they separate the servers, like US West, US East stuff. Say, I'm in the, US West, I'm looking for a couple nice people who are casual or whatever, who want to play Dota 2, and, like, people link up and play together and stuff. Like, you can find nice people to play with if you actually put in the effort. But that also goes to show, like, you can kind of do that with any game. But I'm just trying to help people that are, like, maybe they're interested in playing Dota 2, like, but don't want to, get abused or anything. Like, find people or get your friends to play, learn with each other, or get a friend that's really good at the game to kind of mentor you. And if you want, there's also a thing in like most of the Steam games, like TF2 has it also. You can say play a game with a mentor, and people who have signed up to be game mentors will play with you and teach you how to play the game. Like, and they're just people, like, you know, who want to help, like, the community, and I think they get like item drops and stuff for doing it too. But yeah, there you go. I'm done talking about Dota. It's over. That's literally all I've played this week. So I've been busy, you know, because moving, it doesn't leave you with a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's time for the news. Yeah. All right. I'm actually going to take advantage of this because I'm trying to scrounge up some money for the PS4 before I have to pay bills and shit. GameStop is having like not a sale, but kind of, or it is kind of a sale. It's called a summer something. I can't see the title right now. My internet's being slow. But they're called a thing called Summer Playcation, and it's 5 weeks. I think it started. There was one last week, but it got better this week. You can get double in-store credit when you trade in any system, so that's pretty good if you're like, I'm gonna get rid of this fucking Xbox, or I'm gonna get rid of this fucking PlayStation, or this fucking 3DS or some shit, because you're like, I want to save up for like my Xbox One or my PS4 or, you know, whatever's coming out, like, and I don't, you know, whatever. Anyway, I don't even know what your fucking reason is. Double in-store credit, alright? Like, when I traded in my Xbox, I only had Halo 4 in my Xbox, and I got $160 in credit, and it paid for, like, all of my Q1 games this year. So, do it. Totally. Anyway, also you get 30% extra in-store credit when you trade in any games, smartphones, media players, tablets, all that bullshit. And I think you get an extra 10% if you are a Power-Up card member. And if you go to GameStop all the time, I don't know why the fuck you don't have a Power-Up card, because you get free shit for just using it. And it's not like a credit card. It's just like, I'm signing up, you know?
Just a loyalty thing. It's not a...
Yeah, it's like, you pay $15, you get a year of Game Informer, and you get extra trading credit, and you get money off used games. So, you get like an extra 10% off used games.
There's also a GameStop rewards thing, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's right. My brother got some, like, Assassin's Creed stuff with that.
Yeah, so, like, it's like, I think for every point or for everything you spend on, like, accessories and new games, you get 10 points for every dollar you spend, and then for if you buy used shit, you get 20 points for every dollar you spend. But trust me, that shit adds up. And, especially if you buy games as much as we do, like, that shit adds up quick. And then you're sitting on top of, like, 10,000 points, and you can get, like, I got my wallet. I have, like, a NES wallet. People always fucking comment on it. I got it for free, by the way. They pay the shipping, too. You just have to accrue the points and spend them. And people are always like, dude, that's a rad wallet and stuff. It just looks like the controller, pretty much. But I'll never grow up. I don't give a fuck. I don't need your leather wallet. I'm gonna use my NES one. And you can get like necklaces and stuff, but you can also buy coupons. Like, I remember I used like you get $5 off like any purchase, you know, stuff like that. You can enter in sweepstakes, you can buy posters, and it's all free as long as you just spend your money at GameStop. And yeah, and they're also this week there's a bunch of games on sale. And let's see. So you can get Borderlands 2 for $20. Great fucking deal. Great fucking game, by the way. You can get the Red Dead Redemption Game of the Year edition for $20, which is also like a lot. Game of the Year edition, all the DLC, and Undead Nightmare for $20. That's a lot of shit for like a good price. You can get Grand Theft Auto 4, the complete edition that comes with the episodes from Liberty City and all the DLC, $30. Also another good deal. You can get Deadpool, which just fucking came out, for $40. They got Lego Superheroes Batman 2, $20. Lego Lord of the Rings, which I think came out a couple months ago, it's $20. There's a bunch of accessories on sale, like they have some headset that was like $100, you can get it for $80. Some of the like their iPhone shit's on sale. Consoles are all on sale. Yeah. And I think you get extra trading credit if you trade towards a console too. So you should look into that. But yeah, that's enough of that GameStop sale. But I'm gonna take advantage of it because I need some PS4 money. And let's see. I'm gonna save this one till after because I have to fucking rant about it. This one I know Allan's gonna enjoy, but Disney registered numerous domains for something titled Star Wars Attack Squadron. And we don't know if it's a game, a TV show, a film, or just something else. I would say it's a game.
Yeah,
not just because it's a gaming, not just because it's a gaming podcast, but because like it sounds an awful lot like Rogue Squadron, and I really fucking hope that's what it is, because I fucking loved Rogue Squadron on the GameCube. So please make another one.
Yeah, but Factor 5 is done. Who's gonna make it?
EA. I want another Rogue Squadron, man. They're so cool. Like, they were cool games. Dude, EA, now that you have all the rights, like, buy that shit up, alright? Like, make Rogue Squadron HD, for the love of God. That would be awesome. Put some trophies in Rogue Squadron.
Except for the last one.
Not 2? You don't like Rogue Squadron 2?
No, the third one.
There was a third one?
Yeah, that one actually had, it wasn't just, it had, it worked like a top-down shooter.
Oh, I don't want any part of that.
I want nothing to do with that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got any fucking time for that. But there are a lot of goddamn domains here. They're like, there's attack squadron, like .org.us, .net. There's attack squadrons, attack squads, attack squad, Star Wars attack squadrons, Star Wars squad. Like, there's a lot.
A lot of squad.
Yeah. Well, they're really keen on that fucking squad.
I really hope it's like some spiritual successor to Republic Commando.
I don't think so. I never played Republic Commando, but I heard it was really fucking awesome.
Yeah,
we had it on the Xbox, but I never played it.
It ended on a cliffhanger, which never got resolved.
That sucks.
That happens a lot, and it's unfortunate.
If you don't know there's going to be a sequel, don't fucking put a cliffhanger.
Well, look what Star Wars did. Look what the movie itself did. It was the smartest thing. The first, the New Hope, the whole thing was written as a trilogy, but they cut it up, and then they gave the first one a nice happy ending that you kind of could have just let it end there if you really had to, if it didn't do well.
Well, that's what I mean.
But then it did well enough that they made another one. But like, they left it open for a sequel, but you didn't have to have a sequel to A New Hope. That was that, if, people wouldn't have gone stir crazy because it wasn't a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said stir crazy. That's kind of
I don't know, bro.
Odd, inappropriate thing to say in that context, but
I don't know. People need to stop like focusing on making fucking trilogies also. Cause
I can't stand
that shit doesn't happen a lot of the times. They're always like, remember when they made that what was that? Aragon, was that the book?
Oh yeah. Oh,
remember
God.
they made the movie and they were like
terrible.
The first in the trilogy, and that movie flopped, so they never made the rest.
That was the same with the live action Avatar.
Same with Prince of Persia 2008. Fucking loved that game, but for the love of God, you ended it on a cliffhanger, and then you did DLC, which should have like maybe resolved it because, but then it didn't. It left it on another cliffhanger, and you're like, God fucking damn it.
That's just idiotic.
Yeah, and it's like you won't go back to it, and I'm like, I fucking love this game, and I'll never know how it ends. Like I'll never, And it's like a burden I'm gonna have to live with for the rest of my life. I fucking love Prince of Persia 2008. I know people hated it, but I loved like how unique it was. It was different. That's why I liked it. And it was like really pretty, and it just had a lot going for it. And I loved the characters. Like they hated each other in the beginning. You know, they didn't want fucking anything to do with each other. But then as you like did all the little conversations between them and stuff, they had all this like kind of tension going on. They were talking about their childhood and shit, and there was like a lot of humor in it. Like, and you kind of like grew to love them. And of course, Nolan North is in there, like the greatest voice actor of all time. And you know, it was a good game for what it was, and it's cheap as fuck now. You can get it for like $5. And I love that game. And I'll never know what happens. Just like Allan will never know what happens at the end of what was it? Republic Commando.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never know what happened to Sev.
Bullshit.
Unfortunately, I do know what happened at the end of Mass Effect, though. So.
You know, to bring up that sore subject.
I love bringing that back up.
Let's reopen this wound for the 50th time. Like, you know, I like the ending for Mass Effect 3, but I have problems with them. But, you know, at the end of the day, what's complaining gonna do? Nothing, right?
Well, I like bringing it up because I think it's funny. Because I'm completely over it now, so I think it's just funny to.
I know people are
fun at it because I'm not actually upset anymore.
I bet you there's still some fucking guy out there like, I'm so fucking pissed.
There are people who, I guarantee you, there are people who are not going to buy the next Mass Effect game
because
of the ending of Mass Effect 3. And you know
what?
And that's terrible. You shouldn't do that.
No, they should do that. And here's why. If you don't fucking like something, don't fucking support it. It's like the people who are like, I hate Always Online, but then went out and bought SimCity. It's like, dude, okay, you're just proving to them that they can get away with whatever the fuck they want. So if you didn't like the ending of Mass Effect 3, don't buy the next Mass Effect game. Like, you know, practice what you fucking preach, okay?
I'm one of those people.
I like Mass Effect. I'm gonna buy the next Mass Effect game. But you know what? When we get to this Fez thing, dude, like, so much anger's gonna come out, you don't even know. Like, this whole thing pissed me off, and I've never even played the game. I was just like, people are so fucking stupid, but we'll get there.
It's a shame, because it was a really good game.
Yeah, wait, which one? Are we still talking about Mass Effect, or did we go to Fez?
I'm talking about Fez.
Oh, we'll get there,
okay,
we'll get there.
Oh, no,
I'm saving it for last.
Okay. The thing is, I didn't like the ending of Mass Effect, but I trust that I know they can make a good thing. I enjoyed the game.
That and Shepard
I just didn't like the ending.
Yeah.
So I trust that they're going to give us another good experience with the next game. Who knows if the story, and I you know what? I would actually be impressed if they could top how bad that ending was. So that would actually be, so it's a win-win for me. Either they make a game with a good ending or they make a game with a horrible ending that's even worse.
You know, I actually only had issue with the synthesis ending. That's the one I really had problems with. Like, that one pissed me off. The endings that, the blue ending, I'm going to say,
the control ending.
The control ending, I'm going to say, didn't make me angry. I just wish they'd have gone further. And then, the one that they added at the end, the, refusal, fucking love that ending. Like, I know some people hate it. They're like, oh, you get this far, and you're just like, well, fuck it. I'm like, no, they had a whole, like, thing about, like, you know, and it makes perfect sense.
They did say 1,000,000 times you couldn't win the war conventionally, and then when you basically say, I won't do one of these unconventional options, then you just lose.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it stays within the established fiction that they can't beat the Reapers without, we could launch back into a tirade about it because I could talk about it for hours. I have. I've talked about it for years now. It's
love the destroy ending, love the refusal. Fucking hate the synthesis ending. Destroy ending didn't go far enough. That's the way I think about it. Because, like, none of the endings made you feel like you did. You know, all the other choices were like, it's this or else. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you either do it for somebody else and probably lose something, or your choices either had consequences or benefits. And at the end of the game, it's not like any of the choices you made were wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh, this happens. You know, I go, okay. You know, it's like choose your ending, basically. And it wasn't like, choose this and live with the consequence of like what you fucking did. Because I feel like the synthesis and the control endings, you should have felt like I fucked up. Like, I made the wrong choice. That's what you should have felt like, and you didn't. You're just like, well, I won! Put the controller down. That's my only...
I wish that the ending choices hadn't been choices at all. I wish that you had been shoehorned into something because of all the other choices you made. That would have been the best way, because then actually you have a bunch of different... Because the whole selling point was that all the choices you make are going to feed into these vastly different endings. Mm-hmm. But yet, regardless of what choice you make, you are given one of three options. I know there are small little variations depending on how many resources you brought together, but that's not really a choice so much as you completed more of the game. None of the choices, like the choice to cure the genophage or not to cure the genophage, the choice to blah, 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 all those choices have no effects outside of the story when they actually happen. At the end, they have no meaning there. It makes no difference. It's just war assets determine slight variations on three things that you can pick regardless. Yeah. Oh, well, it's two things and then one when you get more. The synthesis only occurs when you get more war assets.
I still think
the other choices really don't feed into the final thing. The final choice happens regardless of what you did in the rest of the game. And I just kind of feel like because of the way they marketed Mass Effect and the way the Mass Effect series was supposed to be predicated on these choices all completely linking into the final story, it was a little underwhelming. That was my biggest problem with it.
Well, I mean, I liked the destroy ending because it's what I would have done, and that's what I did throughout Mass Effect. And I was like, and I felt like, well, this is my ending, and I felt fine with my ending, non-extended cut. Like, I felt like, I'm fine with this. I think a lot of people chose other things, and that's why maybe they weren't fine with it. But with my destroy ending,
I chose synthesis the first time because I didn't realize that walking there was choosing.
Yeah.
I thought you just had to walk straight to the thing and then press a button. So I just walked straight and ended up doing synthesis by accident.
Yeah, they didn't elaborate on that, which was a little annoying. But like I said, like, they didn't make you feel like you made the wrong choice. And I feel like the game would have benefited from that. Like, you think you're making the right choice, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, shit. I fucked up my whole game. Like, the whole game I was trying to save the galaxy. Little do I know, I just fucking enslaved it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you got played. Like, that would have been so great, because people would have been like, God fucking damn it. Now I have to replay this whole game. But I also felt like, I'm just gonna say indoctrination theory.
Yes.
You should have just.
Oh my God!
BioWare, you should have just done it. When people were so angry, you should have just fucking done it.
That would have been such a great out.
Man. I know, it would have been. Everybody would have been happy. But, they didn't want to do it. But I do love that interpretation. Like, if you play the game again in that interpretation, you're like, there's something to this. You know what I mean?
I know, there's so much evidence for it, which is what's pretty crazy, is there's so much evidence that's like, it's like, this is a hell of a coincidence.
Yeah,
but apparently that's what it was, just a coincidence.
There's all these
heck of a coincidence.
There's all these documentaries about it with all the evidence and like seeing if it stacks up, and you're like, while you watch it, you're like, holy shit. Like, I never thought of this. And you know what? Like, it's still compelling, even with the endings, the extended endings, still fucking compelling. And
it's actually just interesting at this point, regardless of the fact that we know it's not what BioWare is doing. It's still interesting to see.
I feel like maybe it was at some point, and then they were just like, this game has to get done now.
Well, they had that whole other dark energy plot, which was kind of equally as stupid as the Reaper one. And that came out as the original ending to Mass Effect. Something about the Reapers dealing with, like, something about, like, stopping dark energy from consuming the universe or something, so they have to kill everybody every 50,000 years, and Shepard's supposed to, like, let them or something because, the universe will die or some bullshit like that. It was like their alternate ending of the original ending was
get it. Stupid. I get that. I would have been fine with that, but I get why people wouldn't like it.
Yeah, well, you know what it is also, Mass Effect was always... One thing I always got mad at people when they talked about Mass Effect, they always say Mass Effect was about sacrifice. And I do not agree with that. I think there's obviously was sacrifice in there, but I think Mass Effect as a series, and especially Mass Effect 2, was about survival against impossible odds. I mean, look at Mass Effect 1, look at Mass Effect 2. There, in Mass Effect 2, you launch what you literally call a suicide mission, and you can come back from that with everyone. Now, you can also
you can all die.
Shepard can die, and everyone can die, but the thing is, it's predicated on choice, and then the overarching theme of the good thing is that you play the game correctly, and you can win completely. And that's Mass Effect 1 was the same thing. The Reapers, they were an impossible to stop threat that Shepard somehow stopped. And then in the second one, it's the same thing. But by the time the third one comes up, all of a sudden, Mass Effect is about sacrifice, so Shepard has to die. That doesn't make any sense. It's not based in the other games. The other games didn't have that tone, and they didn't have that message and theme. So it doesn't make any sense to throw it in the third game and say, well, it makes sense that it's about sacrifice. No, it's really about, Shepard basically doing the impossible. Or at the very least, it being possible for Shepard to do the impossible, or possible for him to fail. So they really should have had the whole gambit from Shepard failing to Shepard completely succeeding possible in the game, and every little variant in between. That's what the ending should have been.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think also the ending of Mass Effect 3 proved that gamers are way too fucking passionate about certain things. And trust me, this is coming from the guy who is like so passionate and animated about video games. Like when I talk about them, I like move around and shit. I get like really into it. I told my girlfriend that if I couldn't play video games anymore, like if my hands got chopped off, I'd just jump off a fucking bridge. Because I said there's no
Kinect or something and use your feet.
I said there's no reason to. I told her there's no reason to live anymore. Like this is coming from me,
far.
And I think people are too fucking passionate about video games.
Well, I like. The problem is though, because like, look, you have people who are passionate, like super ridiculously passionate about, say, like Star Trek or Star Wars or these things. It's because they've invested so many hours of their lives into it, right? There are so many episodes of Star Trek TV series, there's so many hours of Star Wars movies and comic books and graphic novels and all that stuff to read and all these things to do in these big universes. And when you look at a video game, right? When you see Mass Effect is a series that you're gonna dump about 100 hours after you play all three games. Like if you're really playing it,
you're really playing them, yeah.
You're gonna
like 100
you're gonna dump about 100 hours into that. When you dump 100 hours of your life into something, especially something that's entertainment, this isn't your job; it's entertainment. You're going to be pretty passionate about making sure that you spent those 100 hours, in it well. You don't want to be suckered in. Especially, you get like two games, really got like 2.95 games that were great, and then the very end of it sucked. So, then that's what people were so upset about. And yeah, I do agree. I think people were, it was overriding a lot of things that they could have been doing otherwise. A lot of I was like super upset for like a couple of weeks, but it didn't like affect me from living my life. And then after that, it was kind of over. And then
fuck
I was
my job. I gotta complain some more.
Exactly. And then I was beyond it. There are people who are still on the Retake Mass Effect Facebook page and stuff. It's like, just dude, it's been like it's gonna
acting like they own
pretty
it
quickly. It's been a year and a half. Basically
fucking
a year
let
and
it
a half
go
since this game came out. Let it go.
Doesn't affect your life like in any way. Let it go.
Yeah.
To be
It's
fair,
not like you're protesting against some great injustice, which if you have that much energy to protest something in a video game, maybe you should like read the news and protest something else, because there are a lot of fucking crazy shit. There's a lot of way crazier shit happening in this country that's way more important that you could be putting that energy into than fucking ending of a video game. I'm just gonna be honest.
A scam that's targeting the nation's largest Medicaid system. I just put on CNN as the first thing that popped up. Bam, look at this.
I know,
Scandal.
see?
I didn't have to go far.
Protest
It was
that
the
shit.
headline.
That, and you got the NSA scandal, and I'm sorry, it's a scandal. I'm gonna say it. Let's not get political though. Allan, what were you gonna say?
Yeah.
Well, people after a certain amount of time, they begin to develop a sense of entitlement and ownership to the game, because I know this is pretty much my catchphrase, but Todd Howland said, the former CEO of id, said that people, like, when they announced Doom 3, people were not really happy because
The flashlight.
no, not the flashlight. Just the fact that it would be different from Doom 1 and 2, and that people could say, I spent 1,000 hours of my life playing Doom 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
They get a sense that it's theirs too, which is true.
In a way it is, and in a way it isn't. Like,
It's not really.
in a way it's partially theirs in that it's the developers, especially, you vote with your wallet, right? So the developers should be, trying to, make the game that the fans want. However, that doesn't mean that the fans can just completely dictate everything about it and say, like, well, is like the whole the Mass Effect thing. The person was saying, they tried to bring him up, like, for false advertising, like, in court, and that case got thrown out pretty quickly. But it was just the whole idea that, like, the fans don't own the game, so they hope that the developers will listen to them. And if they don't listen to them, then in the perfect system here, then the fans just wouldn't respond to that. They wouldn't buy the game, and the developers would change to meet the expectations of the fans. That's obviously not how it always works, but that's the ideal of what it should be. So, in terms of ownership of it, they don't really have a tangible ownership. They just kind of have, like, they have a vested interest in it, but it's not, they don't have ownership of it.
They own their game discs.
Well,
That's it.
Also,
That's it. To be honest, like, that's all they own.
like, people making making a, I don't know, I lost the word, but the whole Mad Max thing, when it was first announced that it was going to be an American
yes,
instead of an Australian,
and they got pissed.
They got pissed, and Avalanche said, okay, because you are really angry about this, we'll go to make him Australian.
Yeah. Well, like, but the thing is, I think there's a line to be drawn there, because, like, sometimes, and I think maybe not necessarily with the games as much, but, like, say the Xbox, right? Microsoft has basically backpedaled on everything that they said they were going to
give us the new
console.
ending.
And
just
after
walk away.
the thing is, after a certain point, when the fans have yelled and screamed loud enough, and a lot of times it's a very vocal minority that yells about these things. The main base of people who would enjoy it just don't say anything, and then the other people, they say the 10 or 15% of people who are pissed just scream and yell so loud that the developer go, okay, fine. And when that vocal minority kind of, handcuffs the developer, or, either the software or the hardware developer from creating what they wanted to create, that also is a little bit of a problem. I don't really like. So I think there's a fine line that has to be kind of like, you have to tread the line between, too much, fan control of things, because, like, really it becomes then just hysteria. Everybody, takes one thing out of context, they hate it, they scream and yell at it, and then the people who were developing were like, well, it was a really cool feature, we're going to show them how it was going to work, and it was going to do all this stuff, but we can't do it now because, 15% of people are screaming and yelling, so we have to respond to all the screaming and yelling, because it's making us look bad. So I think there's a little bit of a give and take there.
Yeah,
it's
but
like
people just need to vote with their wallet.
It's like what happened with Treyarch when they did like weapon tweaks for Black Ops 2, and how pissed people got. People went after one of the guys, kept telling him to kill himself, jump out a window or something. And
That's awful.
And then he was pushed out of a window. I'm just kidding.
Dan Amrich, who's Activision's community manager, basically put up a blog.
And a big Ghostbusters fan, by the way. Sorry.
Basically put up a blog saying, "Stop threatening game developers."
Yeah. That's another thing that I don't find, it's not acceptable. You want to complain about something or, disagree, you have every right to do that, but personal attacks are not disagreeing. Okay, like there's a difference.
That's taking it too far.
Yeah, that's taking it too far. It's like there's even disagreeing that's incorrect, because there's constructive criticism and there's non-constructive criticism, right? If you were to say to somebody, if someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, what do you think of," exactly. But if someone comes up to you and say, "Hey, what do you think of this game?" Right? There's a couple of ways you can approach this. You can say, "This game fucking sucks," and then just throw the controller. Or you could say, "Well, I prefer it if the controls were a little bit better because they're a little hard to navigate." Blah, blah, blah. One of those is constructive, one isn't. It's constructive because they can actually fix it.
Yeah,
because
they're
you're saying,
offering
what
a
is wrong with
solution.
it? You're offering a solution and saying, here's how it could get better. The other person who just said it fucking sucks and threw the controller doesn't help the developer at all. And in the end, everyone loses because the developer doesn't make a good game and they don't get a good game. Right?
Yeah.
So when you just start going online and start screaming and yelling, this sucks, it sucks, it sucks, it sucks, without any kind of constructive criticism at all, you're not helping the developers at all. You're just being noise. And when you threaten developers and stuff, or say, oh, you should just die, go kill yourself, that doesn't do anything either. That's one thing that's not constructive.
We're just feeding into this Fez thing later, I swear. It's like, so many times you could have brought it up, but no, it's okay. But no, I totally agree. They wouldn't be good QA testers if you're sitting there. You'd show up first day, you'd play the game that hasn't come out yet, and they go, okay, give us your criticism, and you'd be like, it sucks because it's gay. They'd be like, well, you're fired.
I don't know why we hired you at all.
Yeah, you weren't like, well, the coding on this specific spot, because that's what being a QA tester is about. You have to know, like, a lot of shit. You're like, well, I hit a bug when I looked at this picture, or shooting the gun doesn't always work right, or I feel like the gun isn't shooting accurately enough or something. That's all constructive when you're like, sucks because it's gay, you're fired, get out of the office. Like, that's not how it works.
Exactly. And that's just what annoys me about, because like 99% of reaction and feedback on the internet that, at least the stuff that we see, maybe not the stuff that's directly given to developers, but the stuff you see either on Twitter or the stuff that you see on forums, basically all of it is just very angry comments that don't help anybody. You know?
All right, we need to get back to the news because, like, we're still in the news segment. Anyway, PlayStation 4 Party Chat will be free to everybody. So yes, we know we couldn't do it on PS3, and a lot of people complained for years and years and years, but you're finally getting on PS4 because, more open architecture, blah, 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 whatever. You already know about all this. Anyway, you don't have to be you have to be a PlayStation Plus member to play online now, whatever, but you don't have to be one if you want to use Party Chat. So if you want to talk to all your friends while you're playing a game single player, I don't know, whatever. You don't have to be a PlayStation Plus member to do it. So there you go, people. Don't have to pay for it. Be happy. It's free stuff. Anyway, Gran Turismo movie in development. Okay, actually going back to the free to play or the free chat thing. I'm pretty sure, James, you can clarify this. You can't use Party Chat if you're not a gold member on Xbox Live.
You know what? To be honest, I don't know because I've always been a gold member.
Yeah.
So I don't know which features are and aren't part of it.
Every time I've ever been a gold member is the only time I've ever used it. So I
really don't know.
Like in my heart of hearts it is, but I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, they're making a Gran Turismo movie. I don't really know what else you wanna,
Oh well, hang on. You know what? One of Albert's old questions actually ties into that. Do you want to ask? Do you want to have it now? Okay, hang on one second. Let me just open up Twitter.
Jesus! No, I haven't had it.
Okay. All right. So, Albert last week, asked us this question. He said, "With the news of a Gran Turismo movie a possibility, what other game franchise is least deserving of a movie?"
That's a good one. I like that one.
Let's think of a franchise that doesn't need a movie at all.
I was gonna say Viva Pinata, but they already made a show for that, so I kind of lost that one. God damn. MLB 2K.
Yeah, any sports game. There is no need for a movie.
Can't really do. Connect Sports.
You guys are clearly
kind of sports game.
You guys are clearly missing the big obvious one, Duke Nukem.
All right.
Oh God.
Duke Nukem.
The pilot wouldn't even make it past the focus group. We'd never even see it. What?
See, I'm looking at the games that I have.
Game franchise?
Because like there's a lot of game franchises that would actually make decent movies.
DJ Hero.
Gears movie could be cool.
DJ Hero. Just like some young up-and-comer who wants to be a DJ. You can make it, bro! DJ Hero, you're never gonna be anything in this world! Like, I was just doing a trailer for everybody. Like what a typical DJ Hero movie would be. Like, you'll never be anything in this world. Like, you got the scratch, bro. You got the heart. You're gonna make it. DJ Hero! Also,
goodness.
a Guitar Hero movie, which I think they were trying to do.
Yeah, they were.
A Guitar Hero movie. Ooh.
It's just some kid, and he's like, man, you growing up in the inner city, you're really good at guitar. You'll never be anything in this world! Fox Hero!
You know what doesn't? You know what really doesn't need a movie is like a game like Rage, right? That doesn't even have a good story. That doesn't need a movie.
Yeah, really.
We've done post-apocalyptic movies enough. We don't need Fallout.
No.
Fallout would be cool, but we don't need it.
I know they own the film. Bethesda does own the film rights to Fallout, but I don't think they're making anything. I know a couple years ago they bought them, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, they're making a Fallout movie," but you haven't heard anything since. So my guess is they were just trying to protect their interests.
Well, actually, there was a script for a Fallout movie on, I think, No Mutants Allowed.
Oh man, that website's fun.
Yeah, it just had nothing to do with the original Fallout. It was like it begins with like a vault dweller looking up at like an artificial or a picture of the sun, of like the sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends with him seeing the real sunlight.
So it's just all him in the vault.
No, like they take.
You know what, dude? You know what I just thought of? Now that you've said that, I was like, that'd be a cool first episode. And I was like, Fallout would be a great fucking TV show. Like, think about that.
There's certainly enough content.
Well, I mean, they already do it online.
They could do it, whatever.
There's that fan series that's really fucking popular, that Fallout fan series. There's one online. Man, I'm like, man, a Fallout TV show would be fucking great. I would love to see that. AMC sounds like something right up AMC's alley, and they have like the best TV shows. I got addicted to Mad Men recently. I'm already on season 4, dude. That show's so fucking good.
I gotta check out Mad Men because I've heard it's really good.
You gotta get past the first season. That's what I tell everybody. The first season, I mean, it's interesting, but the whole time you're watching it, you're like, what the fuck is this show about? Because it just seems like a bunch of douchebags like fucking each other and doing advertising.
So Jersey Shore.
Yeah, but with no Snooki.
But selling t-shirts.
And it's also in the 60s. You know what, though? That show also, if you're a history buff, that show does a really good job of, like, bringing up stuff in history and, like, talking about what's going on in current events and stuff. Like, it does a really good job. And it's not, like, obvious, like, they're not like, let's do this, or, hey, did you hear about this and that? Just offhand, like, you know, beating it into your skull. It's, like, offhand stuff. Like, they'll talk about World War II or, like, Korea, you know, or they'll talk about, like, you know, like the Kennedy, like there's a whole episode where like the Kennedy assassination drama is happening, but this couple's also supposed to be getting married, and like certain people in the show are like, I don't want to go to the fucking wedding now. Like it's gonna be depressing. Like it's like what the whole episode's about, but it's like it's really interesting. It's a great show. But yeah, the first season you're like, what the fuck is this show about? Like I'm intrigued, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm flabbergasted. Like I don't get like, is there an overarching plot here, you know, or something? But, like, once you get to, like, the middle of season 2, you like, it gets its claws in you, and you're like, God damn it. Like, I gotta watch this show now. And I'm in season 4, and I'm, like, genuinely addicted to it. We're at the point where I look at my girlfriend, I'm like, you know we have to subscribe to Hulu after we are done on Netflix, right? Because there's no fucking way we're not, like, continuing. Like, but, yeah, it's a good show. But, yeah, Fallout would be that'd be a good TV show. Trying to think of other franchises that would not be good movies.
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart. There you go.
It'd be a horrible movie.
Angry Birds, even though that's like already getting one, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, dude, Rovio has said that they are going to just milk the cash cow until it comes home.
You know what? I don't blame them.
And I like this straightforward approach. The fact that they just said that is awesome. Because, like, if they'd done it without saying it and been like, oh, blah, 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 and then just milk the cash cow, everyone's like, oh, you're just milking it. But when they basically just came out and said, yeah, this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to make nothing new. We're just going to do Angry Birds, and we're going to make a ton of money off of it. I gained respect for them.
It really is a shame that Matt's not here, because last episode of DualShock, our topic of the week was video game movies.
Mm-hmm.
And we just ripped into every single one. Like the Far Cry.
Fuck that movie.
Far Cry was a movie?
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't know that?
Uwe Boll.
I didn't know that.
It was the Uwe Boll movie. That dude was horrible.
Oh, wow.
He made horrible movies.
Know they made a Far Cry
movie. He made the
movie.
Blood Rain movie. He always made movies of like the most random fucking like franchises too. Like Far Cry wasn't as big as it is now back when that movie was made.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made
Alone in the Dark.
Alone in the Dark also. I was like, who the fuck remembers that Atari game? And then Blood Rain. It's like, do people even care about fucking Blood Rain at this point?
Then Postal.
It's like, who the fuck cares about Postal, like, anymore? You know what I mean? It's like,
wasn't Postal, like, super controversial?
Yeah, because it had, like, Bin Laden in it and he was, like, associated with Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. It was like, it was just really inappropriate, basically.
Yeah.
Didn't Boll direct the House of the Dead movie?
Yeah. And it had that rap song in it. It was like, House of the Dead.
And they mixed in gameplay footage from the game.
I know, it's so funny. Like,
I miss those days.
Oh God, who did the Doom movie? Because that movie was like,
I know Carl Urban and The Rock were in it. Let's find out who did it.
And I remember there was like a scene that was all in first person or some shit.
And apparently it was written in first person.
It was directed by, oh God, this guy's name. It's Andrzej, Andrzej, Bart.
Jesus.
Bart Kowiak. Bart Kowiak.
That sounds fucking terrible.
Yeah, like I can't even say the director's name.
You know what movie is like terrible, but I mean it's terrible because of like the effects at the time, but is like still fucking awesome to watch, is Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
It's like the best video game movie ever. Like the effects are terrible, like especially when Reptile shows up, you're like, God damn it, this looks awful. But like if you watch that movie in the context of not like, I'm not watching a video game movie, I'm watching like a magical kung fu movie, that movie fucking rules. Like, it's awesome, dude. Like, it's got everything a kung fu movie's got. Alright, like the brother, got killed and, you're out for revenge and there's like this kung fu tournament that he's gotta win to get revenge. Like, it's so stereotypical, it's so generic. But, like, they add the effect that, like, oh, there's all these magical ninjas, and, like, fucking Goro comes out, and he's got, 4 arms, like, fucking evil Vishnu and shit. And it was like, raw, and they all fight, and, like, they even bring, like, in some of the moves, like, Johnny Cage does his, like, split ball punch to Goro and stuff. You're like, man, this movie is awesome. Like, it's so fun to watch. You just get plastered and watch Mortal Kombat, dude. You have a hell of a time. Like,
then you watch the second one.
Yeah, the second one is balls. Like, don't watch that one. Like, the first one is enjoyable as all hell, and if you actually like get loaded and watch it and eat like some chicken wings, you have so much fun. You're like, God damn it, this is fun.
I do love that it's fun if you're not in your right mind.
Well, if you try to take that movie like super seriously, like if you go into it like I'm when you go into a movie like Lincoln, you take it seriously, right? And then, but if you tried to go in with that mindset watching Mortal Kombat, like this is going to be a serious movie.
Who the hell goes into
I don't know, yeah.
Mortal Kombat thinking it's going to be?
No, I'm just saying, like, what if you had never heard of Okay, what if Mortal Kombat wasn't a video game and that was just the movie, and you tried to go in like super seriously? You know what I mean? Like, I just watched Lincoln and I'm watching two movies in a row, and I know nothing about Mortal Kombat, and I'm going to go into it in this serious attitude. You're going to fucking hate it. You know what I mean? But if you go into it like, I'm about to watch a really stupid action movie where people fist fight and they have like 4 arms and shoot fireballs, like I'm gonna have hell of fun, you know? It's a fun movie to watch, especially with your buddies. Like, that's why it's the best video game movie ever. Because Mortal Kombat in its essence too is one of those games that's best played with your buddies. You know, like, cause it's ridiculous and you're like ripping people's spines out. You know, like drink a couple brewskis and sit on the couch with some friends and play Mortal Kombat. You have so much fun. Same thing with the movie. Get some beers, get with your buddies, sit on the couch, watch Mortal Kombat. I guarantee you have tons of fun. That's why I love that movie so much. It's like I never watch it alone. I always watch it with friends, and we always have tons of fun. Like,
yeah, you can't do that with Street Fighter.
No, you cannot, because I watched Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li in theaters, mind you.
Wait, the Legend of Chun-Li, the one with Kristen Krug?
Yes.
I watched that?
Yeah, but I got it free because my friends work at the theater, so like I didn't pay for it. But there was only a couple other people in the theater, and that movie was so terrible. We were laughing at it the whole time. We're like, this movie's so fucking bad. And after it ended, like one of the dudes is with his girlfriend. He just leans forward and he has like his hands on his face, and his girlfriend is like got her arm around him, like consoling him. That's how bad it was.
Jeez.
We were like, oh man, that movie was so bad. And like, we used to we'd make fun of the lines from it too. Like, there's a line in that movie where they like talking about how Bison evades, like, you know, they're like, oh, Bison, he walks through the raindrops. We thought that was the funniest shit. They meant to say, like, you know, they can't, like, he's so elusive, like, you know, nobody can catch him. Like, that's what they meant to say, but they're like, oh, he walks through the raindrops? Like, he walks through the rain and doesn't get wet. Like, it was so funny. Just laughing because it's so cheesy. And there's that part with the bomb where, like, they run in the thing and they're like, it's a bomb! And they, like, jump out in slow motion out of the trailer as it blows up, dude. Oh, that movie's so bad.
And the writer is now working on the Dead Space movie.
Oh, good! Another crappy movie to watch. Or another crappy movie not to watch. How about that? I love Dead Space, but I don't know, bro. Like, I don't think I can do it. I loved the first Dead Space. I tried playing Dead Space 2, and I was like, you know, I just don't care. And then Dead Space 3, and they're like, oh, it's co-op now, and it's like action-y. I'm just like, I'm never playing that game. And it wasn't mine too, so.
I am kind of intrigued of what John Woo's Metroid film would have looked like.
That could have been cool. I don't know, dude. You know what movie I used to like when I was young and now I kind of despise is the fucking Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh.
Yeah, like, I mean, people are like, it's good because it's got a cult following and all that, and that's great. Cause
does it?
It does. It totally does.
I thought it was universally hated.
No, that movie, well, I mean, it's bad, but people like it because it's bad. You know what I mean? They all get together and kind of watch it together and like, oh, this movie's terrible. And like, when I was in like junior high, me and my best friend would, you know, we're like Super Nintendo nerds and shit. Like, you know, we'd watch it and you know, laugh at it because it's really bad, but like, we, like, you know, enjoyed it because of that, you know. Tried watching it recently and I'm like, God damn, this movie's fucking terrible. Like, I'm like, this has nothing to do with Super Mario Brothers. Like, I feel like it was just a movie and they're like, you know, maybe we should fucking put some Mario Brothers shit in there. Stuff like that. You know?
Yeah, like it's Mario and Luigi Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're father and son, right?
No,
they're brothers.
Oh, brothers.
The Mario, yeah. The Mario,
Mario.
Mario.
I think that's the way John Leguizamo pronounced
It's from
it.
the East Coast, probably. It's probably. You're not. No, you're wrong, James. All right.
No, I'm pretty sure that was one of the things in the film that was really.
No, they're brothers, bro.
I know they're brothers in the game.
No, but they were in the movie too because even their truck said Mario Bros on it. They were just really distant, like, you know. It was like 15 years later, like the parents were like, let's have another fucking ain't gonna amount to shit kid. So they just spat out Luigi. And then disappeared off the face of the earth. Dude, this is the most tangent-y podcast we've ever had. We've been talking for like the length of an entire podcast, and we've only talked about like 3 news stories.
Hang on, I see someone here saying that that in the '90s movie they refer to them as father and son.
I think you're fucking crazy. I think
you need to look at the movie again.
Whatever. It fucking sucks anyway. I'm not gonna watch it. Just keep going on. All right. By the way, listeners,
if someone's listening to this podcast and they know the answer to the question, just go ahead and tweet at us.
Yeah, tweet
angrily if you want, because we don't know.
I don't give a fuck. I get hate mail anyway. Yeah. So anyway, let's just fucking move on. PlayStation Plus perks for this week. So probably by the time you're listening to this, because that's going to be available July 30th, which is Tuesday, obviously, because that's when the PSN store updates. You can get Dakuro, which is a Vita game, which apparently is like a puzzle platformer. It's supposed to be pretty good. I honestly had never heard of it, but everybody's like flipping their shit because apparently it's an awesome game. You're going to get it for free this week, PlayStation Plus members. So you can get that. And then there's a couple games going on sale. One of them, shockingly low price. Max Payne 3 is getting discounted to $7.99. And it's that's just Max Payne 3 though. They have the Ultimate Edition on sale. That one's $11.99, which includes all of the maps for multiplayer. Which I don't know who the fuck's playing that multiplayer anymore. Good luck there. But also Pixel Junk Monsters Ultimate's on sale. That's also $11.99. Still no word on what we're getting in August. I have a feeling we won't find out until the Monday before, which would be August 5th. So, yeah, look for that. I'm excited for more Vita games. Matt came to my house, because it was my dad's birthday, and he came to my house and we were talking about, he asked me like, dude, what was the PlayStation Plus thing for this week? And I told him I didn't know. And I was like, it'll probably get announced tomorrow. And it did. So, I was like, they usually announce it the Monday before, so you never fucking know, you know. Although Battlefield, I think when they announced it was on a Tuesday, so they were like, you can get Battlefield 3 later today. And I was at work when I saw that. I was like, oh shit. It's like the first thing I did when I got home. I better get my free copy of Battlefield. This one is crazy. I'm actually genuinely kind of shocked. Wii U no longer being stocked by UK retailer Asda.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know who Asda is, it's the British Walmart. Like, it's literally the English arm of Walmart. And they just basically flat out said, look, we're not gonna carry it anymore. And they're not gonna carry the console anymore, basically. And it said the Asda departure comes after publishers have begun publicly addressing the lack of Wii U sales, which forced them to delay one-time exclusives to get on multiple consoles, Ubisoft being the most notable for Rayman, because Rayman Legends was a Wii U exclusive, and then when they realized the sales were so fucking bad, they were going to lose so much goddamn money on Rayman. They were like, we better fucking delay the shit out of this, put it out on PC, Vita, PS3, Xbox 360. Although the delay, it's a good thing that game got delayed anyway, because we're getting like 90 more levels, and it's on multiple platforms. So, it's a good thing for everyone else, not for Nintendo though, because they lost an exclusive.
Yeah, it wasn't even looking at Rayman that made them do this. It was looking at the sales numbers of Zombie U.
Yeah, Zombie U's fucking, it didn't sell well at all.
Oh, they said it wasn't even close to profitable.
Yeah, didn't they say like they were contemplating, like they were in pre-production for a second one, and then they saw the sales and they're like, whoa, better stop that.
Yeah.
Call of Duty Ghosts is coming out on Wii U though, apparently. But I think there are Call of Duty fans on the Wii, so that doesn't surprise me at all, to be honest. Yeah.
But I thought the 5 to 10-year-olds are playing their 360s and PS3s.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Honestly, I don't see the Wii U working out well for Nintendo. And I don't want to be like that guy that's like, I fucking knew it, but I kind of saw this coming.
But I kind of did.
But a couple years ago, when the Wii was kind of in the middle of its life cycle, it was selling like fucking gangbusters. I kind of thought about it and was like, what could they possibly do? Like, are they gonna release a Wii 2? Because everybody's gonna be like, why the fuck do I need to buy that? I already have a Wii. You know? It does the same thing like fucking everybody else did. The reason everybody bought a Wii is because it was so fucking unique. Like, everybody's like, oh shit, I've never seen this done before. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, old people were bowling and like, you know, the old people that didn't play fucking video games at all. My mom hates video games. She got a Wii. Fucking played it and stuff. I'm like, this is crazy. You know, I'm like, this is nuts. And now it's like The Hangover. You know? It's like America in the 20s versus America in the 30s. Like, the 20s, everybody was like fucking, like, you know, the economy was great. Like, it was flourishing. Everybody had all this money and they were just fucking around and smoking weed and cigarettes and drinking. Like, it was prohibition. They were still drinking anyway. They're making all that bathtub gin, inventing cocktails. Fucking economy was amazing. You know, the 20s was like fucking crazy, and then you get to the 30s, and as my history teacher described it, the 30s, which was the Great Depression, was the hangover of the 20s.
Yeah.
And that's when all the debt, like, fucking piled up. This is the Great Depression of Nintendo. I feel. I feel this way that the Wii U is doing even worse than the GameCube did. And not even Pikmin can save it. Because, listen, alright, Nate Gamer, who's the biggest Nintendo fan I know, me and him were pretty goddamn hyped about Pikmin 3, but even me and him were like, I'm not even buying it anymore.
Yeah.
And the only reason is because the time passed. And we're just like, I don't fucking care anymore. Like, you had your chance. You know what I mean? You waited almost 10 goddamn years to release it, and at that point we're just like, I don't even fucking care anymore. Even after all the delays. Like, it was supposed to be a launch title and all this stuff, and then it wasn't. You know? You had one of the worst console launches ever. And all this stuff, and you broke all our dreams, and now you're kind of dealing with the consequences. But anyway, they're not stocking anymore. But they did claim that they will continue to sell Wii U games through the online portal, but only on a case-by-case basis.
Which basically means that they're just trying to get rid of inventory.
Yeah. Or that means, like, if there's a really big game coming out, which is never...
Yeah.
Then then they'll have it. Like, if, you know,
Super Smash.
Super Mario 3D Land, or that's what it's called, right? The Wii U?
Yeah, I think
I was
so.
asking Allan. I figured he would know. Like,
yeah, it is.
Yeah, the Wii U and Super Mario 3D Land, right? The new one. Or no, it's just called Super Mario Wii U Land or something. I don't know. Whatever. That one, which looks good. It's like the first Mario 3D platformer in like a really long time, other than 3D Land, which was on 3DS. Other than that, I can't see them stocking anything. It's like, people are just pulling out. They're like, the Wii U, and I remember Ubisoft, like, the CEO of Ubisoft came out on stage for Nintendo, was like, we're really fucking committed to the Wii U. And they're like, oh, goddamn, like, we have all these games that are coming out for it that are exclusive. Like, we got Zombie U, we got Rayman, here's all the cool stuff we're doing for it. Even that wasn't enough. And then Ubisoft was like, well, shit, we better get off this sinking ship. It's like, what's going on over there? Like, How come they can't move units? Like, that's really what the question is. It's like, do people just finally see through the bullshit? Like, this console's like 10 years behind, or is it just...
They don't get it. They just don't get it. I think the average consumer just doesn't get it. You know, they don't get that.
They should have made it. They should have been a new name.
They don't get why it's any different. They don't get why it's not just an attachment for the Wii, because they think it's just a controller for the Wii. They don't think it's a new console. They think it's a controller for the Wii, and they don't get it.
I think this holiday season is going to be the grand decision, like the grand decider, because it came out last kind of holiday, but you know, people didn't really latch onto it. Like, the Wii sold better than the Wii U, like, last holiday season, because it's so fucking cheap. Now, you can get a Wii on eBay for $35 now. Isn't that crazy? Like, there's just that many of them.
Yeah, that's
I feel like
ridiculous.
Nintendo's just gonna start giving them away. You know? It's gonna be like a free-to-play game console. They're just like, the console's free, but buy the fucking games, you know?
I think Sega did that with the Dreamcast.
They were... Oh yeah, like they were giving you the console if you signed up for their online service.
Yeah, like they were that desperate. I feel like Nintendo's gonna get pretty fucking desperate soon. And it's kind of sad, like, you know, to see the giant kind of fall. But I have a feeling at some point they might just... I mean, if the only thing really making them money now is the 3DS. If they didn't have the 3DS and the DS and those weren't selling like fucking hotcakes, I think they'd be out of business by now. Like, it'd been over already. Or they would have been, like, fired half their workforce. Like, the only thing keeping them afloat is that. Otherwise, their ship is sinking. And it's kind of sad to see. But I'm interested to see what you guys think. Like, if Nintendo was to go out of business tomorrow, if they were to claim bankruptcy, sell off all their IPs and assets, who do you think would buy what?
Oh,
I think it's.
I think that's an interesting question. I think
people would
I think Sony would be clamoring to get tons of their IPs because, like, if they could get a hold of just Zelda and Mario, like, that's it. Like, I mean, all those Nintendo people would go buy PS4s to, like, well, not tomorrow because it's not out, but you get what I mean. Like, they jump on that ship.
Actually,
I kind of feel like Microsoft and Sony would have a bidding war.
Oh, well, no doubt. That's what I mean. Although, I feel like Activision would try to buy some of those too, because Activision, even after, which I think this news story was last week, but we didn't cover it because we did an early show, actually bought themselves from Vivendi. Activision Blizzard is now their own singular entity again. They're not owned by, they spent $8 billion buying themselves back from Vivendi.
That whole stupid Vivendi thing is what screwed the Ghostbusters game over, and I didn't get it in fall of 2008. I got it in June of 2009 because of that.
You're like, fuck those guys.
Yeah, seriously.
You know what's really good about this, though, is that I know people are always like, Activision's evil. It's like, I think it's going to be interesting to see if it really was Activision being all evil. You know what I mean? I'm sure some of it was. But
they had games that came out before.
Vivendi is a huge fucking company, and like their stockholders might have been like, you have to release a Call of Duty every year, like no exceptions. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's a piece of shit.
No exceptions.
Yeah, I don't care if it's shit. You're releasing one. Like, you know, when your boss says that, it's kind of like,
well, then you just have to do it, right?
Yeah. All of a sudden, like, and it also, since Blizzard was under Activision and Activision subsequently under. Technically, they are one company. They're Activision Blizzard, but they're cut into their two, you know, arms, basically. It might give Blizzard a lot more freedom. I mean, they already kind of had a lot of freedom because they're Blizzard and they make fuckloads of money, so they can really do whatever they want. I mean, Jesus Christ. They've been working on the same MMO, which we haven't heard shit about, for... 5 years, and they just scrapped it and started over because they said it wasn't good enough. That's how much money they have. Like, it's crazy. I don't know if we even covered that on this show. Like, they canceled, or not canceled, but they had like a prototype or like a working version of Titan, which is their code name for their new MMO. At least in the mainstream, that's what it's codenamed. It's codenamed Next Gen MMO in the back end, because I've heard that from people. And, yeah, they apparently had it working, and they said, this isn't as good as we thought it was going to be. We should probably go back to the drawing board. And they just hit the delete button. Like, that's crazy that they can just do that. Like it's nothing. You know?
Going back, though, to the hypothetical if Nintendo shut down tomorrow, I think it's pretty clear. Microsoft would go after Metroid.
Yeah.
Bethesda...
Why do you say that? Because she looks like a female Master Chief?
No, because it's first person, and that's...
Well, Metroid Prime is.
Yeah.
You know what I really want? If Nintendo really wants my money, make another 2D Metroid game.
Yeah.
I know it got silent.
I know for damn sure that Bethesda would get Zelda.
Really?
Bethesda would
Why
want
do you say that?
Zelda, but I don't think they'd get it though.
Yeah,
because I think
feel like
Sony
would really be after Zelda.
Money.
Well,
Like Bethesda would want it, but Sony and Microsoft would put out too much money because Sony and Microsoft would immediately be like, all right, everybody that was a Nintendo fanboy is now going to buy one of our consoles, so we have to get Zelda, Mario. We have to get those two. Those two, I think.
Everything else is like, unconsequential, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're gonna want to get. I don't think Sony would have really. Oh, they might actually. I was like, they might have some interest in picking up Smash Brothers, but they would have to pick up all those characters too. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Sony would have to spend a lot of goddamn money to get
and they
everything.
put Smash Brothers and All Stars Battle Royale or whatever. They couldn't merge them because if they merged them, PlayStation All Stars would have to go away because Smash is too much.
Well, I don't think to be honest with you, like, PlayStation All Stars didn't do as well as Sony wanted it to. And, like, they had a really aggressive marketing campaign, and it sold well, but not as well as they thought it was. They halted, like, DLC production and stuff. The studio that they founded to make the game, they separated ways with. The studio couldn't find a partner or like a publisher for their next game, and they subsequently died. I mean, it's sad, but I mean that's also business at the same time.
Yeah, well, if it doesn't sell enough, it doesn't sell enough, and they put a ton behind that.
And it's really sad because PlayStation All Stars is like an exceptional game. Other than like the GUI is fucking ugly. Other than that, the game is great. I like it more than Smash Brothers. Here comes the hate mail. And I don't care if you like Smash Brothers. I like Smash Brothers too, but I personally, like, after playing All Stars, I feel like I can't go back.
Listeners, you can tweet your hate mail at Gaming Hobbyist.
Is that you?
No,
that's Tom.
Yeah, that's Tom.
Oh. Jesus Christ.
He's angry enough as it is.
Yeah, I know. That's the guy that didn't like Sleeping Dogs. You know, wait, I was gonna bring this up earlier when we were talking about Mass Effect, but Sleeping Dogs I really loved, but I didn't like the ending. But I still really like the game. But I don't know. You also don't get as invested as in a Mass Effect. I understand. But I'm just saying, sometimes you can not like the ending and still think the game's good. There's a couple, like BioShock 1, fucking adore that game. Hate the ending. I hate it. It's awful. But, yeah. That's all I got. Yeah, I feel like, Sony and Microsoft would enter this huge fucking bidding war, and I feel like Sony would be willing to take that risk, because I think they would realize that it would give them such an upper hand. Like, Nintendo fans are already passionate as is. You know what I mean? Like, super passionate about the brand, just like hardcore PlayStation fans. I'm sure there are hardcore Xbox fans out there, but I don't know that I don't know. I've never, like, heard of any super fan groups for them or anything, so I'm not sure, but I've never gone hunting. But, yeah, that would be interesting. And is it sad that I kind of want it to happen? Like, I don't want people to lose their jobs or, you know, like, that kind of thing, you know, but I feel like Nintendo's just behind the times and somebody else needs to take over. Like, Or they needed to take more risks. They needed to be like, and it seemed like they were going to do that with the Wii U. They're like, we have all this third-party support. You're going to be able to buy Darksiders 2 and like all these like Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty, and it's all going to be available at launch. And we're going to be like really aggressive. Like we finally giving you M-rated games, like the hardcore gamer is going to want. And then what happened? Nobody bought it because it was like, you need to give me a reason to play it on the Wii U and not to play it on my PlayStation or my PC or my Xbox. And you didn't do that, you know? So you really didn't accomplish anything. I don't know. I think we're getting to that point. Like,
I only bought it because I saw gameplay of Zombie U, which immediately caught my eye. And as soon as I was finished with that, there's really nothing else for me to do. So it's been off ever since.
Yeah, you know what I've played the most on my Wii U is Balloon Fight, an NES game.
Yeah, because you got that for like 30 cents.
Yeah, I got it for 30 cents, and that's the game I've played the most. And you know what I've done the most on my Wii U is just use Netflix in the living room.
Oh,
because we don't have any other box like in the living room to do Netflix. It used to be my PlayStation, but I finally moved it to my room. For a while, we didn't have a Netflix box in the living room. And then voila, we get the Wii U. And we were using that as the Netflix box, and that's like it. That's all I was using it for. Like when I had tons of friends over and we'd be in the living room, you know, be like pull it up, watch some Hey Arnold or some shit, you know? But that was it. I played Nintendo Land for 10 minutes and was like, this is boring, and then turned it off. And the only other game we have is Epic Mickey 2, and the only reason that I bought it was because it was a Christmas present for my sister, because she fucking loved Epic Mickey 1, because the Wii was hers, and the Wii U is hers also. I just reserved it, and then I was like, I can't really pay for this, but I have the reservation, and then my mom paid for it as like a Christmas present, you know, for her. So we kind of said it was like from everybody. And that's the only reason we have it. It's because it's my sister's. And, like, you know what's funny is that she plays it, but what she plays on it is Wii games. Just fucking play her Wii U game. She even told me straight up, she was like, yeah, Epic Mickey 2's not that good. Like, she was upset about it. And she never plays Nintendo Land. I think I've seen her play it once. And I'm like, well, that was a waste of my money.
Nintendo Land's only fun with people. You need to have like other people there. If they don't have other people with Wii remotes playing it, it's no fun.
Yeah. I agree. Poor Nintendo. I don't know.
Are we gonna get to this last news story thing because we've been podcasting for like 2 hours?
I know. I got one more, and then we'll go to the Fez thing, and I can fucking rage.
Just let you rant about it.
Oh man, I got some rage to fucking vent. Although I've been venting it all week, like to people I talk about, so it's not gonna be as fucking. It's not gonna be as colorful as it was before, but I'll still rant. This LA Times was doing an interview with Tetsuya Nomura, who works at Square Enix, and they were asking him about Kingdom Hearts as a trilogy, you know, whatever. And he said, there was never a plan. As a core game, this is finally the third. 10 years have passed. I couldn't call this a trilogy. There have been so many spin-offs.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3, the battles that the characters have been fighting for the past 10 years will come to a conclusion. That's the plan, but the series as a whole will continue. The particular enemy you have been fighting for the past 10 years, though, will come to an end. So, finally they're gonna end, like, that main kind of story you started off in 1 and 2, but they're like, we're still gonna make games. So it's like, I talked to Matt also about this, because we were talking about how Kingdom Hearts, like, 3 isn't the end, and I was saying it should be the end. Like, I love Kingdom Hearts, alright, I love it dearly, but it needs to just be over, because all these spin-offs are fucking annoying. And now that Disney owns Star Wars, and Marvel, and Pixar, we were like, Kingdom Hearts 3 just needs to be like an 100-hour game. They need to go all out, have like Star Wars levels, Pixar levels, Marvel levels, Disney levels, and just make it this massive fucking clusterfuck of a game that just culminates at the end and it's just over. Like, just fucking end it. You know what I mean? But they're not going to do that. I have a feeling that we're not going to see any Marvel or like Star Wars or anything, even though it'd be fucking awesome. But
I think the closest we'll come to that is seeing side characters in Disney Infinity.
yeah, you know what's crazy? Disney actually owns the Kingdom Hearts characters, like not the Final Fantasy characters or anything, but the characters that are exclusive to Kingdom Hearts, Disney actually owns, not Square. Isn't that weird?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I thought that's really strange. And what do they do with them? Fucking nothing. Like, they don't do shit.
They don't do anything with their games division either.
That's true. They're just like, make another fucking game. Make another Final Fantasy 13. Jesus Christ. There was a Final Fantasy 13-2 news, or 13, not 13-3, but, you know, the Lightning Returns shit, and I just skipped over the news story. I was like, I'm not even gonna fucking talk about it. I don't fucking care. Like, and this is coming from somebody who liked Final Fantasy 13, like, legit. I went to the launch party in San Francisco, and everything. Like, I got invited to go, and obviously it didn't affect, like, my love of the game. I still loved the game, but fucking, I'm so, like, done with that universe. It's like, just fucking end it. Jesus Christ. Like, go on to 15. You know, 15 looks fucking great, and I cannot wait. I'm like, actually release it this time, for Christ's sake. Like, don't just be tooting my horn. Anyway, yeah, everything you've been waiting for, it's all leading into this one news story. We've just been referencing it all episode, and I don't know how you could not have heard about this, but I haven't actually seen the video where this all started, but Game Trailers, I guess, does this weekly video show, and the way this started is that the guy on Game Trailers, he mentions Phil Fish is the guy. He's the man who created the game Fez, which you may have played, which I've heard is amazing.
It is.
He mentions Jonathan Blow, who's the guy who made Braid, and he always talks about them in a joking manner. He calls them Blowfish because he says they're the same dude. And he called them, like, hipsters and stuff. I don't know if he was, like, ranting at them or, like, being mean, or if he was just joking, because if I heard, like, he was calling them Blowfish, I thought it was funny when I first heard it. I thought maybe he was just kidding. Well, drama ensued, and Phil Fish got into this huge argument with him over Twitter. Like, huge. And, eventually, Phil Fish decided that it'd be a good idea to threaten the guy and tell him to, quote, compare my life to yours and then kill yourself. Because, you know, nothing says credibility like a death threat.
Yeah.
And then this went on for a while, and then he said, quote, I'm done. Fez 2 is canceled. Goodbye. And then he closed his Twitter account.
It's like he tried to drop the mic, but instead he dropped the game.
Yeah. Hours later, the company that he founded, Polytron, announced on their Twitter, it's with a heavy heart that we announced that Fez 2 has been canceled and is no longer in development. We apologize for the disappointment. Now, you have to remember, this isn't a big studio, right?
Yeah.
And this guy employs these people to make his fucking game.
So he might have thrown a hissy fit and literally...
He threw a hissy fit and took these people's, like, income away. Try to think of it like that. Because I know there's some people that are probably trying to defend Phil Fish at this point. And don't defend that fucker. That's all I'm saying. Alright? And I'm gonna get into it, because this fucking guy pisses me off. Like, and I've never heard of this man before this incident. And, okay, so anyway, he did this big blog post, basically, where he talked about why he's wanted to get out of the games industry because of all the abuse. And, cause apparently somebody making fun of him on a video is abuse. Like, he can't just fucking laugh it off. He's like, I'm officially leaving the games industry, like, forever, and he's like, my leaving the game industry and canceling Fez 2 had nothing to do with the tweets. Bullshit, alright?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm doing it to get out of games. Although he could have just got out of games and let the people keep working
Yeah, he didn't have
Like,
to.
nobody knows what's going to happen to Polytron now. Is he still going to own the company and, like, collect all that money and shit? Like, okay, never mind. I'm on their Twitter, and they've since 5 hours ago, actually, this is crazy, tweeted just a quick note to say Polytron isn't going anywhere. There's still much porting to do. So I don't know if they, like, port video games or something. But they are indeed not going out of business, so that's good. Take one point out of the douchebaggery that is Phil Fish.
I just have to say that there's one person who's, like, gotten his ass chewed out by the game industry and is still in it. John Romero.
Bringing Romero back.
I mean, after the whole, after everything with Romero's gonna make you his bitch.
Romero's gonna make you his bitch.
To the Daikatana flopping like a flounder.
Like a pancake.
Or like a Magikarp.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, okay, sorry, 1 second. Nintendo, if you go out of business, please let Sony buy Pokemon from you. So that it can be on Vita. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god.
That would be fucking rad, alright? Anyway, continue. Sorry.
After Daikatana fails, he keeps on going on Ion Storm. They eventually do Deus Ex.
Oh, Deus Ex is so good. You talking about Human Revolution?
No, I'm talking about the original.
He's talking about
the original. Oh. I haven't played the original yet. I own it, though.
But eventually, they went out of business because it's John Romero. And he had like a brief stint at Midway working on some like redo of Gauntlet. Then went to work on mobile games. And now he's suddenly just back in the fray as if nothing happened.
Alright. So, yeah, I'm looking at a picture of this guy. He looks like a douche.
Who, John Romero?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, man. Yeah, he worked on, like, Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein, Dangerous Dave. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, the whole thing with the reason Doom Guy is because of John Romero.
I don't know who Doom Guy is. You mean the main guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because, as it's quoted, Doom Guy is you.
Got ya.
Which I just find funny every time I read that.
Doom Guy is you. That's kind of funny, actually, if you think about it.
But, I mean, if he can't, like, this just... If it's like the kid who takes his ball and goes home when he doesn't get his way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, I found the thing. It says, the infamous Daikatana Suck It Down advertisement. It says, John Romero's about to make you his bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't believe Eidos had a hand in that. Oh my god, dude. Wow, on his fucking Wikipedia, there's a separate thing for his hair.
Yeah, it's like it's been what it says. It says it's been a source of
admiration and derision for his.
That's
hair.
right, a source of admiration and derision.
John Quest answered Planet Quake's Dear Minx column in which female fan asked for his hair care tips. Romero cut short his hair in 2002 and donated it to Locks of Love. Discussion boards such as Doom World and Beyond Unreal had threads discussing his new look at the time, although in recent years, Romero has grown it back to full length. Fucking hella random. I can't believe you just fucking... We need to get back to Fez 2, goddammit. I still have so much more to say.
No, I'm just saying that if Romero he took all this in stride. He didn't say one thing. He he took it. Fish couldn't even take it, and I honestly doubt that. What was the guy's name?
Phil Fish.
No. The Game Trailers guy.
I don't remember his name.
Something Beer.
Yeah.
I really doubt he intentionally target developers, because it's pretty much the one thing not to do in the industry.
Yeah. Oh, that, and it seemed like he was kidding.
Yeah.
And you know what? They are hipsters. They make indie games. That's one of the rules for being, you're either trying to get into the bigger industry or you're a fucking, gaming hipster. That's just the way it is. And I mean that out of love. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying, there are a lot of people out there that are, really disenfranchised with the way that the game industry works, and a lot of them are fucking indie developers, or they exclusively only play indie games. And I'm just saying, whatever floats your boat, that's fine. I don't give a damn. But Phil Fish, you're a fucking crybaby.
Mm-hmm.
You're a fucking crybaby. Okay, you're getting mad because somebody made fun of you on a fucking video. Okay, people make fun of me all the fucking time. I play Dota 2, alright? And people insult me on Twitter and shit. I don't give a fuck. You have to, okay, one of the guys at, IGN, actually, Colin Moriarty, fucking love this dude.
Yeah.
He kind of commented it on Twitter. He just said, net haters will always exist. They will always try to tear you down. Ignore them. Don't feed it. They would never, that's all in caps, say it to your face. And it's true.
Yeah.
Who the fuck cares if somebody doesn't like you? If you don't have any respect for them, if they don't have any respect for you, don't fucking return the respect. But god damn it, act like a fucking adult, okay? You own a company. People fucking, they're developing this game. They're expecting to get paid, and because you had a fucking argument with some dude on Twitter, you have to go and act like a stupid little fucking bitch, and you have to cancel it and be like, I'm done, I'm getting out of the games industry, it's bullshit anyway, and leave. It's you know what? If you're gonna act like that, I don't fucking want you to be in the games industry. Alright? You're ruining it at this point. And you know what? I've never played Fez. I've heard great things, but at this point, seeing the way that you've acted, I'm never going to fucking ever play or spend money on that fucking game ever. I don't care how good it is. And if you ever decide to come back into the games industry and you make another fucking game, I don't give a shit. I'm never giving you my money. That's the way I feel. You know what? I can't believe in this day and age someone who has the personal will to work that hard and start a company will just bitch out because somebody makes fun of him and he has to call it abuse. It's are you fucking kidding me? I don't know. What do you guys think? You think I'm being crazy, or am I in the right here? Because I don't.
I think he's being a little whiny here, and just kind of.
It's being whiny.
It's like when I was a little kid and I bowled one time, and the resetting the pins was still down, and I bowled the ball before I should have, and it hit the thing, and the ball came back, and I started crying and screamed I'd never play bowling again. You know how I kind of ran off like that? That's kind of what I feel like he's doing here. It's like people are making fun of me. We're done. It's over. I'm never doing this again. Bleh, and then run away. That's exactly what it seems like.
There's a funny meme of him online from Indie Game the movie, because he was one of the people that they followed in Indie Game the movie, which I've never watched. I've heard it's a great documentary though.
But I doubt you're gonna watch it because he's in it.
Well, I'll just get angry every time he's on the fucking TV. I'm you suck. I still like Jonathan Blow though, because he didn't say shit. He was just whatever. I don't fucking care. That's the way you should act. Who cares what people think about you, alright? You shouldn't get that emotional about it. You shouldn't be you think Jonathan Blow's I'm gonna cancel The Witness now. You know what I mean? He's just yeah, whatever. He could have responded to when Soulja Boy said his game was shit. Remember that? Does anybody remember that?
No.
Like Soulja Boy like did this video on YouTube, like that stupid ass fucking rapper. I can't believe he calls himself that, by the way. Like, he's not a rapper. He's not even a musician. He just fucking talks. He's bullshit. Anyway, he like made this video where like him and his friends were like high and they're playing Braid and they're just laughing at it and they're like, it's Mario without a hat. And like, this game sucks balls and shit. He didn't fucking do anything about that. I'd have been so insulted if that was my game. I'd have been like pissed, you know? But he didn't do shit. And then somebody calls you a hipster and then the fucking all hell breaks loose. It's like, Jonathan Blow, you got a lot of, you know, you can take the criticism and shit, you know, you're a cool dude. You might be a hipster, but I like your games, you know? But he's an adult. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the way you should handle it. But anyway, there's this meme online of Phil Fish, and it's him from Indie Game the Movie, and it says, I'm looking forward to that kind of brutal honesty that we're going to get from the average gamer. And it's like, obviously you weren't, because you're like complaining about all the abuse and how much, people made fun of me. Like, what? Yeah. Yeah, see,
Hello,
this
welcome to the internet.
This is the one time that, like, I agree with people on IGN and their comments, but, like, somebody said, what a bitch. You guys made fun of me, I'm leaving. Man up and overcome. And then somebody else, he also came back and said, I know he's a prick, even though he contradicts what I said, I'm glad he's gone. Funny. Yeah.
Alright, and rant?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I'm done. Fucking.
This has been one wild episode.
Do you have any questions, Josh? Because I have one final one from Albert.
I have an insult that I can read on the air.
Do your insult.
Oh, man. So I posted on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, I'm at PackPunk, P-A-C-P-U-N-K. But I posted in the next episode of GamerCast, we're going to talk about why Phil Fish is a crybaby, and I will try to describe Star Wars Episode 3. And I got one response, and it's from somebody at Extra X Studios. I don't know who the fuck this is. They only have like 8 followers, so who the fuck cares? Anyway, they said, you should also talk about why you should go kill yourself. And I responded with, I'm not sure if that's an insult or a joke, but I'm going to bring it up. XD.
I want to hope it's a joke, because the guy said something about killing yourself in the tweet. I think he's making a joke reference to.
I don't know,
story.
James. I think I should leave video game journalism forever.
It's over. It's done. VGU.TV is out of development.
Yeah, I can't take the abuse anymore. Dude, we got so much. I got so much flack for my Ouya review, but I didn't. But you know what? I'm still here. I don't give a fuck what people think.
Remember the Xbox One policies article that I wrote?
Yeah, you got a lot of flack for that too.
From the PlayStation fanboys, I wrote an entire article that said that the Xbox One's policies were bad. And I got shit from PlayStation fanboys.
Yeah, well, because you were going to buy it still.
I did say I was going to buy it, yeah.
Well, and then we had to explain to the guy, the guy ended up apologizing.
The guy on the site, yes.
Yeah, the guy on the
N4G people.
I never read the N4G comments.
Those comments were hilarious. I mean,
dude,
it was like, you're the problem with the world. You just, like you're what's wrong with the world. You're blah, blah, blah. You're horrible. You're a whore. I hope you should go to prison because you enjoy getting pounded, blah, blah, blah. Over, and it was phenomenal. There were so many ridiculous comments.
This is what I'm saying when people are way too passionate about video games. Think about what you're saying. You're the problem with the world. It's a fucking video game. Like, Jesus Christ. Like I said, if you could put that much energy into, like, you know, actually getting some good politicians into office in this country, maybe the fucking world would be a better place. And honestly, if you don't like what the Xbox One is doing, don't fucking buy one. I'm not buying one. Even though they reversed their policies, I'm not buying one. And I don't care if you go buy one. That's your own goddamn decision. It's a free country. I guess if you live in the U.S., like, or wherever you live. But I know there's a lot of places that aren't. But I'm saying, like, you have a choice, you know? It's a free market. It's a free market. You can buy whatever you want. Nobody's forcing you to buy it, okay? Like, there's a lot of people that were like, I played exclusively Xbox for like 15 years, and now that this happened, I'm gonna buy a PS4. And you know what? Like, that's their choice. They're not in the right. They're not in the wrong. That's what they want. All right, and that's all that matters. Like, saying somebody like is the problem. It's like, no, you're the fucking problem. It's true. Like, you shouldn't care. Like, James plays Xbox. He has a PS3, but he doesn't fucking play it. I don't give a shit. He still likes video games. Doesn't mean me and him can't agree that Halo 4 or Uncharted 3 are both fucking phenomenal. Like, you know, it's like people get this weird like gang mentality the same way they do with sports. They're like, how dare you not believe what I believe?
Right, but at least there's actually a reason in sports. Because the teams that compete for a championship, right? You know, there's a particular thing, like, you know, you get like New York and Boston, it's a rivalry or something. Sony and Microsoft are
but that doesn't mean you should, like...
But actually, honestly, if Sony or Microsoft knocked one of the other people out of the race, that's not really a win for anybody.
Think about it.
Because that's not good.
Just because you like another sports team doesn't give you the right to tell fans of the other team that they're like the problem with the world and they should go fucking kill them.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying that the context for the back and forth makes a little more sense in sports than it does in games.
But I mean, people still have like.
But you still shouldn't
like
act like that. People get too.
People play whatever they want. Like
about
one of my. He's not one of my best friends, but he's a good friend of mine. Like I'd say he's a couple friend because, like, you know, when you get in a relationship, you try to find other couples to hang out with. And I met him because my girlfriend is really good friends with this other girl. And I met her boyfriend, and me and him like all the same shit. So, like, we get along really well. But he plays exclusively Xbox. That doesn't mean I'm like, go die in a river. We still talk about the same games. Like, it's just in a different, like, it doesn't matter. Like, when we both played Mass Effect 3, we both talked about the same fucking game. It's not like it was different. It's not like we were both like, ew, you play Xbox, or ew, you play PlayStation. It's like, it's the understanding, like, well, you still like video games, you just play on a different console. It doesn't fucking matter. People get way too fucking, like, into it. Yep. Like, and I mean, it's fine if you, like, want to poke fun at your friends, cause, like, we always poke fun at James, like, about having an Xbox. Matt, especially, cause he's part of the problem. But,
Matt, well, the best is when Matt starts fighting Constantine, because Matt doesn't really have anything to stand on when he fights Constantine. Because PC basically is better in just about every aspect. But Matt will still be like, well, it's still the superior machine. Those are the best arguments.
Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't really gotten any flack except for my Walking Dead Survival Instinct review.
Yeah, you like that, and most people hated it.
Yeah, I gave it a B+, and everyone's like, sure you played the right game?
Yeah, I think there were some people, either that or it was on another thing where you referenced it, where they thought they actually thought you mistook it for Telltale's game.
Yeah, and the other type of flack I get is from Matt when I play Xbox games.
Yeah, well, because, you know, Matt's shtick is that he just talks about PlayStation, and if you ever mention anything else, it goes, well, why didn't you play it on the superior machine? That's his thing.
I found the greatest fucking IGN comment I've ever found in my entire life.
Alright, let's hear it.
This guy makes so much sense that it is ridiculous. It's back to the whole Phil Fish thing. But he brings up a really good point. Like, he says, it's funny, I just watched an interview with the fatter of the two who made the Super Meat Boy. And he said, actually, there was no the there, it just said Super Meat Boy. I don't know why I said that. And he said how he was portrayed as an, quote, always smiling, nice guy. I actually found this further from the truth. I found almost everyone in that movie seemed exactly like elitist music hipsters claiming that fans of something mainstream or something that they didn't like are brainless idiots. The video on YouTube of them embarrassing the man who humbly asked about Japanese games is a clear example. I actually sympathized with Fish during the film, but once I started seeing his personality after the movie, it became similar to the elitist nerds in high school that made you feel bad because they were picked on. But when you try to be nice to them, they actually prove to be pretentious, condescending people who to an extent being the criticism upon themselves. These guys made great games, but seeing who they are makes people... sorry, I can't read today. But seeing who they are as people makes me wish I had never supported them by purchasing their games, because these people are an extension of who they are, because they are an extension of who they are as the people I don't care for. Something like that. He worded it kind of weird, like near the end. It didn't really seem to make sense. But you get the gist of what he's saying. He's basically like saying that they're basically pretentious nerds that make you feel bad. And you know what? We've all fucking met them. They're all like, you like Star Trek The Next Generation, but you don't like the original series. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, those people who are, you know who's a good example is Marshall. I love you, Marshall, but you're kind of pretentious. Like, you know what I mean? Where he's like, well, the ending of Mass Effect 3 was fucking terrible because of blank, blank, and blank. And he like sounds all smart. And you're like I met somebody. He is, I don't remember where he works, but he's a programmer at a game studio. And, cause my girlfriend has connections, obviously. She works at Telltale. And, I was having lunch with a programmer at Blizzard. And then this guy, and then her, and one of her friends that was helping her do this, like, game project at her school. She's still in school. And I was talking about, Dota versus, like, League of Legends and stuff. And the guy was criticizing me for liking Dota. And only one of his things was like, well, the designer's kind of a douchebag. And I'm like, I was like, alright, well, what did he do? And he couldn't give me, like, any examples and stuff. And then he was saying, like, oh, there's all this stuff in Dota 2 that's, like, all these glitches and stuff that are only in there because they're in the original. And I was like, so? I was like, but that makes it more appealing to people who play the original. And he's like, it's stupid. And this mechanic, there's a mechanic in Dota 2 called denying, where you kill your own, minions, or you destroy your own structures to deny the enemy the experience. So it's like, this tower is gonna be, it's only got like 10 HP left. They're gonna come back, they're gonna destroy it and take gold. Like, you get a ton of gold when you, destroy a tower, and you don't want the other team to do that because they can buy better items, they get stronger. So you're like, well, I'll just destroy it. It's gonna get destroyed anyway, and I'd rather they didn't have the gold. So it's called denying. And like, in the early game, you deny like a lot of your minions because you don't want them to get as much experience as you. Cause like the early game, you're trying to get as powerful as possible in as fast amount of time. And one of the ways to stop your opponent who's in the same lane as you from getting as much experience as you is to try and kill your own minions at the last minute. And it's called denying. And he was like, oh, denying's like fucking stupid, and I hate last hitting, which is like you have to kill something to get the gold from it and all that. I'm like, dude, it makes the game like more technical. It makes it like harder to play. Like, you know, you have to be really good at it. He's like, there was all these things he was like criticizing me for and saying all this stuff. But he was being like really pretentious. He couldn't just say, I don't like this or that or this, and that's why I prefer this over that. He was like telling me I'm wrong, basically. And I fucking hate people like that. You know? Mm-hmm. It's like, you can't just agree to disagree, you know? Or you can't just say, like, that's your opinion, but I don't agree, you know? Like, you can't be an adult about it. Like, I don't know. It's, that's just the way it is. I hate people like that. I can't stand it. It's like, if you don't agree with me, that's fine, but don't be an asshole about it. Don't be a child. Like, actually have some way to back it up. Or just say, like, I wasn't into it, you know? Like, James likes all these sports games. I can't fucking do it. He's not in the wrong for liking them. That's just what he likes. Like, I don't like them. And I love Final Fantasy. James doesn't love Final Fantasy. It's not that I'm in the wrong. It's not what he does. It's not what he likes.
Yeah, I like, places that have one dimension, and they're not all different. Oh, weird, and not telling me that for like 20 years or whatever. They never told me.
Excuse me? Wait, say that again?
They never told me it was different dimensions. I didn't find out until I heard you, Square Enix didn't say, hey, James, all these games are in different dimensions. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
Oh, okay, yeah. James thought
they should have reached out to me,
James
I have
the
an email.
All the Final Fantasy games were like sequels of each other. Like, he's like, how the fuck am I supposed to play Final Fantasy VII when I didn't play 1 through 6?
Let's be honest here. That is pretty logical to think that Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they're all connected.
No, they're not.
It makes sense to think that.
Well, I mean, yeah, but when you actually get to know the series, you're like, okay, I'd rather it's this way though. Because if we were at Final Fantasy 15 and we were still with the same goddamn characters, you'd be like, I don't fucking care anymore. Like,
well, I figured because it was like, it's Final Fantasy and it's like, it's Japanese and different, right? The same rules don't apply,
I think Dynasty Warriors is all the same characters. I want to just ask, who the hell out there is buying Dynasty Warriors? If you buy that game, if you're out there buying that game every year, please tweet at me. I just want to know. Like, I don't hate on you or anything. I'm really curious because I never hear anyone ever talk about them and they just keep making them. And I'm like, who is buying these games? Like, I just want to know. Like,
Again, if you want to send Josh your hate mail, tweet at him at
That was no
gaming,
hate at all. Like,
tweet at him at Gaming Hobbyist.
Actually,
dude, if Tom got a ton of hate mail because of things Josh said, that would be the best thing in the world.
That'd be so funny. Tom's like,
that would be the greatest thing.
Tom's like, why the fuck did I get all this hate mail? I never said Phil Fish was a bastard. I never said that either. I said he was a crybaby, but man, yeah, I don't know. People will be too crazy about shit. Swear to God. And I hate pretentious nerds. It's like
I hate pretentious people. Doesn't matter if they're nerds or not. But
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. People think I'm like really pretentious about movies, and I kind of am. But like, I try not to. I don't try to say like, how could you like that fucking movie? It's more like when people say I liked that movie, I'm like, all right, whatever. But when people say they didn't like a movie I liked, I'm kind of like, how is that even possible? Because I hate most movies. Like, that's more of my thinking. Like, somebody told me they didn't like Pulp Fiction, and I was like, how the fuck do you not like Pulp Fiction? I'm like, that movie is amazing. I've seen it like 50 times. I could watch that movie every day for the rest of my life and not get bored. I'm like, how the fuck do you not like that movie?
It insists upon itself.
It insists upon itself.
What does that even mean?
Yeah. I actually do really like Godfather also. I've only ever seen it once, though.
I've never seen Godfather or Pulp Fiction. There's two.
James, you should go watch.
I've never seen them.
You like Tarantino movies, though, right?
I have about them.
Pulp Fiction is his best movie.
Okay.
Some people will disagree about that, like Matt for some reason.
Throw in a Reservoir Dogs or something.
Yeah, Matt says like Reservoir Dogs is the best movie, and I'm like, Reservoir Dogs is great, but it is not Pulp Fiction. Like,
yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, I like Pulp Fiction, or he's like, I like Reservoir Dogs. I'm like, dude, it's Pulp Fiction. It is his best. It's like the pinnacle of like how good he ever got or ever will be. Like, and I love Tarantino. I love his movies. But it's like nothing will ever be as good as Pulp Fiction. It's just so good. Like the dialogue and like the way it's one of those movies where every time you watch it, you notice something little that you didn't notice before. You're like, I never thought of that. And it is like Tarantino's movies where it's like out of order and shit. But it's not in a confusing order because the movie is separated into like episodes, quote unquote. So there's like 3-ish episodes basically. And the beginning is the beginning. And then, there's like a scene before like the title shows up and it's kind of near the end. or it's kind of near the middle technically, but I don't want to confuse anyone. So think about it from this way. The title happens, there's the first episode, it's the beginning of the movie, and it's like a 20-minute thing. And then when it's over, it cuts to like kind of the middle-ish, like end-ish kind of area. And then it's like it goes on from there, and then in the middle there's just there's an area that's supposed to be like kind of after the ending. And it's from a different character's perspective. And then they do the ending. And it sounds really confusing, but when you watch it, it makes sense because you see these things happen and then they like go back to it. It's not like Memento where they're constantly going backwards. It's almost like you're watching like just episodes of like a serial or something, but they're all kind of strung together in a weird order. But it's cool. It's such a great movie. It's fucking fantastic. But James, do not watch it when there's family around. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't want your mother to call me on Skype and be like, they're like, what was he watching? I'm like, he's a grown ass man.
Here's a grown ass man.
Because there is a part where a dude gets fucked in the ass. You don't really see it. I mean, you see it from behind, but it's not that bad. Okay, like you're not going to be like, oh Jesus Christ! Like you don't see any like penetration or anything, but you know.
Poor Ving Rhames.
I love him in that movie. That's pride, fucking with you.
Okay, do you have anything else to say about Phil Fish? Because I have one last quick question from Albert, and then I think we can wrap up just before we hit the 3-hour mark. No, it doesn't. So if you want to say something else about Phil Fish, just go ahead and do it now.
Mail time. All right, let's do it.
All right. So the only question that we got is actually an old question from Albert from last week, it's from like 5 days ago. He says, what do you think of The Last of Us multiplayer? So he just kind of wants our impressions on it.
Oh, I love it. It's awesome.
I think that the concept is really cool. I don't like the shooting in The Last of Us. The shooting mechanic is not very easy for me to pick up on. I don't enjoy it. I feel like
because you have to be super accurate.
Yeah, you have to be super accurate, and I don't like that. I like my aim assist. I like my Call of Duties and stuff, spray and prayer. I like that stuff. So I don't really like the shooting element of thing. I think Naughty Dog's games in general don't have the best shooting mechanics. So I would like to see a game that has solid shooting elements, that has like really good shooting elements. Like let's say like they had like a third person, but it was like Gears of War type thing. But they had that cool little meta game that you're doing with the survivors and the supplies and all those other things. Mm-hmm. I think that would be really, really cool. The Last of Us is cool. I just can't really get too into it because I can't play too many levels of that before it becomes too hard for me to get enough kills or enough, supplies by the end of the first week,
survivors
I'm
alive
done.
And stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm not up to that level. It's not good. I don't get much better by playing it. I just kind of
I never play it alone. Is one thing. Like, it's one of those games. I mean, you can play it alone, obviously, but it's not as fun. It doesn't shine through. Like when I first played it alone, I was kind of like, I don't know, whatever, Mm-hmm. But then a couple of us, Nate Gamer played, you played, another friend of mine who does some YouTube shows with me, we played, and then we played with somebody else, but I can't recall. I think it was Matt. We played with Matt. And, we kind of cycled in and out, but we played till like 3 a.m. and had a blast. Like, it is, what I love about it is like, the patience that it requires and the coordination. You have to kind of call out to each other. And I've been playing online games with my friend Jay for fucking years, so we're very in tune. Because we play Dota 2 a lot together, and we also play The Last of Us together, and we're always like, and he's also in the military, so he has all these like slang words and shit. And we're very like tactical. We're like going to the left, getting supplies. Like, dude on the left, he's behind this. And we're always calling out things, and that's what makes the game great, is like when you have somebody that you can play with that's like also really committed to coordinating and not just like, well, my day, we did this and that while you're being blasted by a shotgun or something, you're like, oh! But I like the game because it's, it's tense. Supply Run sucks. Don't even play Supply Run. It's boring as shit. Gotta play Survivors. You gotta play with people because that's like, it goes in rounds. You have to win 4 rounds to win the game. And each round, if you die, like, that's it. Like, you're done. You gotta wait. And I think that's great because it reminds me of Gears 1, and I played lots of Gears of War 1 multiplayer, and that's another game that, like, really required a lot of coordination until, like, 2 came out, and they just had deathmatch, and you were like, well, fuck it, and you could just run in,
And then the James Pungellos of the world started playing.
Yeah, but no, I loved Gears 1. I thought, Last of Us, I think we usually call each other on Skype when we play games. But we were playing with our headsets in the game a couple times, and when you die, like, you can still talk to each other, and I think it was a lot more fun in Gears 1 when you'd be playing and you'd be talking to someone, they'd be like, yeah, work sucked, and then they would just die and they get cut off. Or like they'd be in the middle of like, oh shit, they're flanking me, and then they'd be gone, you're like, oh god. It added to that tenseness. It made it like more fun. And like, especially when people got sniped, because they'd be in the middle of like talking, and then you would just see the little headshot thing pop up. Or they'd be next to you, and they'd be talking, and then their head just leaves. And you're like, oh god. Yeah, that game's fun. But yeah, I do really like The Last of Us multiplayer. I think the whole survivor thing to get upgrades and trying to keep all your people alive adds like even more, like this tense metagame where you're like, I don't have enough fucking downs. These people are going to die. Like, I need these supplies, and stuff like that. I like it a lot. I don't know. Have you played it a bit, Allan?
I have not played a single bit.
Okay, so Allan doesn't know what we're talking about.
You gotta play with us, man. It's fun. It is something you gotta play with friends. Cause
like anything, it's better with friends, but like this one's really better with friends.
Yeah, it's like tense and cooperative and all that. I don't have any other questions other than that insult, so.
Well,
yeah, so.
The last multiplayer game I played was Uncharted 3, and that was live streamed, and people saw how well I was at that. So,
well, I shot Matt with a rocket launcher last time we played Uncharted 3.
You shot
I don't mean in the game. No. No, last time Matt and Josh, Matt, and I played Uncharted 3 multiplayer, and I shot him with an RPG. Do you remember that?
I think so, and he was like, what the fuck, Jay?
I know, it's like this big explosion behind it. Like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, I think I accidentally pressed the fire button on this RPG. How'd you do that by accident?
You crazy dog.
I don't know. It's this PlayStation controller. Oh, you shut up. It's the superior machine. I can figure out who's talking, who's saying which line.
Get mad. Superior machine. I'm like, dude, I love my PlayStation, but like, PC can do way more.
Although I've said this before too, PC it's not objectively better because it's like I prefer the idea of a console where you don't have to worry about system specs and paying more money to upgrade your game console or your PC. You just buy a console and then every game that comes out for that console works on it.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I like that better.
Or you hope they work.
Well, they should as long as the console's functioning.
Yeah. The only I do the thing about my PC though is like I only play PC specific games on it, like MMOs, and I play Dota, and I play Warcraft, and I play Starcraft because those are games that don't work on a console. And like I played Team Fortress 2, like that could work on a console, and they have put it on consoles, but it sucked ass because it didn't have items, didn't have trading, obviously it didn't have hats, which is like half the game.
Also, no one really played it.
Yeah, I played it. The first time I ever played it was because I got Orange Box. I knew nothing about it, and I tried playing it, and I was like, I fucking hate this game. And then I'd tell people, like, I fucking hate TF2. Like, and they're like, I played it on 360. Like, bitch, you gotta play it on PC and stuff. Because they update it all the time, and they balance it. Like, that game gets an update every, like, week. You know, like, fixing bugs you'd never thought would even exist. And, like, they update it with, there's, like, new hats and shit to trade for and stuff. And, basically, yeah, it's just really good. And it's also free now. I actually got it when I bought it when it was like I got it in the Orange Box on Steam because the Orange Box was like $5 or something during one of the winter sales, like before everyone really knew like about the fucking winter sales. And they had a winter sale and it was like $5 and I was like, you know what, fuck it. Everybody says like TF2 is better on PC, I might as well try it. And then I got addicted because it is so much better on PC. And then I got my girlfriend to get it. I got, once again, my friend Jay to get it, and we played it forever. It's so much fun. That's another game that's kind of boring by yourself. Not because it's hard, it's just like more fun to kind of yell with your friends at it.
I don't think the listeners are going to make it to this point in the podcast.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think we're
I turned it off after.
Albert might make it. Might take multiple.
He's the only one,
but I think he might make it here. So.
Yeah.
But if you did
actually,
make it
you
this
know
far,
what?
Then shout out to you and
I don't know about you
tweet
guys.
at us and let us know.
I don't know about you guys, but
far.
I actually kind of like doing longer podcasts.
I enjoy longer podcasts. I just don't want. You know what? I like also when I listen to podcasts, I like them to be longer. Simply because I don't feel the need to listen to a podcast in one sitting. I have no problem pausing it, and then doing something else and then coming back to that podcast. It gives me just more content,
I have
more time.
an incredibly boring office job where they let me listen to music. So I really, really love really long podcasts. I get angry when the podcast is only like 50 minutes. I'm like, God damn it, that didn't kill any time. I have to be here for like 7 more hours. You know?
Yeah, like I kind of like having like a podcast that's like super long or whatever. Like those like the Knock and Boots podcast is the one I listen to the most, and those like 2 hours.
You still have to pay for that.
That's nice. Yeah, and actually I actually don't mind paying for it anymore. They give you two solid hours now, and it's like $1.99. It's not that big a deal. Mm-hmm. They're doing it on like off. They're doing it in their free time. They don't. It's not associated with IGN or anything at all. So
yeah,
I can understand why they have to charge you a little.
Technically, we are doing this in our free time, and nobody's going to pay for it. But
this is for the site though.
That's true.
This is official VGU.TV business.
I know. Well, I also you know what podcast I really love that all the episodes are long as shit is Joe Rogan Experience. It's like one of the best podcasts ever.
Yeah, aren't his like 2.5 hours or something?
They're all like 2.5 to 3 hours, and he always has like, because it's like the most popular podcast on earth. He always has like really cool people on there, and they always talk about really awesome stuff. And it's also really funny. Like they get into like cool shit that you're like really interested in, and then they also like, joke around and they make funny ass jokes. Like today, I was listening to one, and he said like, if I don't call you a bitch, that means we're not close. Because he said like, because he opened up the show, he's like, "What's up, bitches?" And then he was like trying to say like, "Don't take that as an insult." Like, he's like, if I don't call you a bitch, like that means we're not close. And then the guy who was on his show is like, well then I must be really close to you. And I thought about it, and I was like, I do that to all my friends that I'm really close with. Like when they say something that, like when I'm like, you should come hang out, like we're going to Wingstop, and he goes, oh, I gotta get up early. I go, bitch. Like, anyway, this has been VGU.TV GamerCast. You should tweet at us. You should tweet at me, at PackPunk, PACPUNK. You can tweet at James Pungello, which is just at James Pungello. You can tweet at Allan Muir. I don't actually remember Allan's Twitter. What is your Twitter?
At the Allan Muir. That's ALLANMUIR.
There you go. And you should tweet at us. Tell us if you like the shorter or the longer format.
Also,
are we gonna?
tweet angry things at Tom Freeman.
Gaming hobbyist. And you have to address them to Josh when you tweet it, Tom. Say, Josh, I'm pissed.
I'm pissed that you're so passionate about people being so passionate. I don't know. I'm angry at stupidity. That's my thing. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, tweet at us. You can follow us at VGU.TV. I'm going to maybe start doing weekly Dota 2 streams. The problem I have right now is that my apartment doesn't have internet set up. So, and I also don't know how it's going to run in there. So I have to do some test streams when I first set up the new internet and set up my Alienware and stuff. And I'm thinking about getting a capture card because I got rid of my Hoppage box. I'm thinking about getting like an HDMI capture card so there wouldn't be a delay anymore. And I would use less RAM so the stream might look better. But I have to figure out how much money I'm actually going to have because I have to pay bills now. And I should be able to get one, but I don't know yet. But I might be doing weekly or like every other day Dota 2 streams on our Twitch channel, which is just twitch.tv/VGU.TV. I don't think Chris does World of Tanks anymore. I don't know. He was doing it for a while.
He was.
Yeah, but I'm not sure yet. But I might be doing some weekly Dota 2 streams with some people that I play with on a regular basis who are really cool. Jay, obviously, who you've known from he's guest starred on some of the GamerCasts, and he's been on a couple of our live streams, and then a friend of mine, Andre, who I think was on a live stream for Dota 2 back in the day, like maybe months ago. And then he's a cool guy. He's not affiliated with me. He's just a friend of mine who I play Dota 2 with. And yes, so that might happen. And then if I get a capture card, we'll try to do some more streams. But it's weird because my life is in like a really weird transition period right now, so I really don't know what's going to happen at this point.
You just have to stay tuned.
Yeah, I have to stay tuned because I gotta get my internet all set up. I'm moving into a new apartment, and I currently have 2 jobs. So, and one is an internship that pays me a lot, and they might hire me, but I don't know. And then my current retail job is transferring me to another site. So, I don't know, up in the air. And I'm starting school again soon. So I don't really know what's going to happen. Anything could happen in the next couple weeks. It's cray-cray. Anyway, this has been VGU.TV GamerCast, episode 55. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, leave some nice comments, review us. Also, we're available on Stitcher. For those of you that don't know what Stitcher is, it's an online radio and podcast service. It's completely free. You can listen to all kinds of podcasts on the internet, on your web browser. Personally, I use Stitcher like every freaking day of my life. I love it. They have an app for it. It's on Android. It's on iOS. You just go download it, you make an account, and you say, I like these podcasts, and they update automatically. You just stream them from online. Don't have to download them. That was one of my biggest things is, if I wanted to listen to, a Joe Rogan show or, a podcast Beyond, but I couldn't download them, And now I can just stream them from wherever I am, and I don't have to download shit. It's amazing. I love Stitcher, but we're on Stitcher, so go find us there. Not sure if DualShock Show is on Stitcher. I submitted it, but I don't know that it actually made it on there. I don't think it got approved. It's probably because of Matt, a superior machine. The guy was some Xbox fan who's approving. He's like, fuck this kid. And he's just kidding. I don't know. I think it's because it didn't have enough episodes. It's a new show. GamerCast is at 50-something episodes, so...
What are you talking about, a new show? We're almost at 25.
I know, you're fucking catching up. It's because we skip weeks and shit.
Yeah, you guys are very much, you do it every single week. We kind of do it whenever we can. We try to do it once a week.
Yeah, I have a very hectic lifestyle at this point.
Tom just half the time he's there, and the other half he just doesn't respond.
It's just being British.
Well, if my internship gives me a job, then I'm going to have my weekends free. So that is when live streaming and podcasts will be happening, and you'll have regular streams of content. But also look for my Dota 2 review, which is going up soon on VGU.TV. Anyway, bye everybody.
Bye.